The same from the way I played. I managed to get like 10 out of 12 points, but we know as a team there's a lot to do. I think the game's changed quite a lot in the last couple of months, the way people are playing, a lot of new items in the game, so definitely won't be playing the same way as I was in January. I think you'll see some different things today.
Now let's talk about your first opponent, Newcastle. For both you and your teammate, how are your mindsets going into it?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one because Painter, I'm aware of how he plays. I've watched Banks play as well. I think it's strange for me coming in second leg because I'm not sure what the score will be. Could be any score. I've had it last year where, you could be drawing, you could be losing, you could be winning. So have to see how it plays on stage. I'm aware of what Newcastle can do, but I'm confident we can win.
All right, Tom, well, I will let you get back to it and I will send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Casey and Tom. But for you guys watching, it's time to take your pick. On the B stream, Palace and Everton are about to kick off. And here on our main show, Spurs are facing off against Newcastle. And remember, that game does feature in-game upground. So if you did that showdown SBC, you have got so much to root for in this match.
Thank you so much, Frankie. And yes, I'm joined here by Casey. In this match, we're going to see in just a few moments Crystal Palace against Everton. Crystal Palace probably one of the favorites to win the whole thing, but still, they got to win this round of 16 because there's all to play yet. But Everton, they're a team who could potentially do something good, especially when they're playing with Ranieri because he won 2 games in the group stage, 6 out of 12 points, but still, Nixnef, 12 out of 12 points, and Shells, former champion. We expect big things from them.
We do, and Shells was previously with Man City, so we've seen a lot of him, previous champion. And so, honestly, we weren't really sure what happened with Shells in the first couple stages because Nixtab was dominating, but he wasn't quite getting into his groove. And so I've actually spoken to him a lot leading into this game, and he's like, I'm really trying to reset my mindset. He took 2 days off to, be a little sad about how he performed, and then he just hit the ground running with friendlies, and he's been practicing nonstop every day since January. And so we'll see if that all, really helps him out.
Do you think that's what it takes for a player to be performing at the best when coming back here, like giving yourself a free day, like let's say 2 or 3 days to just do whatever you want, try to disconnect and then go back to the green?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think every player has their own mindset going into it. Sometimes they're so upset that they want to, as soon as they get home, they go straight back into it. I know that Tex, when he had that really rough FC Pro run, he was sending codes in the friendlies chat as soon as he got home. And so sometimes it just takes a few days for some. Some people are just ready to jump right back into it. But no matter what, they have to continue with the grind. You can only really take 24, 48 hours because even that amount of time is time that you could be using your new squads, adapting to the new metas, and you'd really need every single day that you can. But I do think you'd need a little bit of a mental reset to regroup and try to forget everything bad that happened, really.
No, I agree with you 100% because in those situations, I feel like it just comes to how the person feels. Like some people just need their space and they need to just chill for a couple of days. But as you said, I do think 48 hours is enough because if you, let's just say you don't play for a week, mechanically you'll feel like you're not confident, the skills aren't there. And again, Shells, I think Shells is going to perform really good today because he's not one of those players who in a group stage perform bad and then in the knockouts perform bad again. He'll obviously always find those picks throughout the season. But I'm curious to see Nixnef, to be honest, because I trained against him this week. He destroyed me.
How'd that go?
He destroyed me. He beat me like 5-0, something like that.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, it wasn't just 5-0, it was just like 10 shots against one, like something like that. So I'm curious to see if he can pick up his form in here again, because, I mean, the group stage, 12 points out of 12 points, it could have been any better.
No, it was perfection for him. And so, but the thing is, coming into this, we have Chris Jakeman, it's his first event. You don't really know what to expect. He came into the first one not so great, but he's had time to adapt, come back into this. We have Zaneri, on the other hand, who knocked out Gorilla to qualify. So he's taking out major competitors to even qualify for this competition. And so I think it's important to not count out Everton going into this. I think most of us will anticipate Crystal Palace to have a dominating performance, but crazier things have happened. We shouldn't underestimate Everton here. And I think either way, it's going to be a very, very good matchup.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's curious because you would say the top 4 teams to win the whole thing has to be the ones that are in the quarterfinals. So that's Luton Town, that's Liverpool, That's Manchester City
And Brighton.
Yeah. So you would expect those players and those teams to be the best ones. But you could also say that Crystal Palace is a stronger team comparing to maybe Luton Town or maybe Brighton as well, maybe Liverpool.
I think they were tied on 16 points as well. So it came down to the tiebreaker. So they
Yeah.
were practically there at the top.
I remember that last match when Chelsea needed to win in a way or draw, but if he lost, he didn't need to concede. He couldn't afford to concede many goals, and he did concede like 4 or 5 goals against Nathan, which made them to drop against Luton Town. But yeah, that was the past. That was 2 months ago, sorry. So I do think he's going to perform really good today. So as we can see, right off. Oh, that's a red time finish by Everton, by Chris Jakeman. And as we can say, right now, as we can see, Everton is playing with his blue t-shirt from right to left. And as we can see, Shells from Crystal Palace is playing from left to right. So that was a really big chance at the start, right?
Massive chance. I don't think Shells was anticipating Chris Jakeman to come out that hot in the beginning of this competition. But I like it. I like the aggressiveness of the attack here, because in order to play against such a skilled player like Shells, who's very defensive as well, he needs to go very, very offensive and take those risks.
I agree with you 100%. And that first chance of the game, he decided to do a fake player lock into a pass inside the box. He tried to fake a cross as well to Haaland. He's doing the stuff. Like you can see the player lock in there. Udogie is progressing. He passes the ball back to Ginola. But yeah, mechanically he's doing things right. As you saw in previous competitions you've commented and been part of, you need to be aggressive in the 1v1 situations, because if not, you won't score any goals.
Absolutely. I do feel like sometimes we see a little bit of that overplaying. You're not quite sure. You do a couple extra passes, when in all reality, you can continue to push forward and there will be that wide open opportunity to slot it in the back of the net.
I agree 100%. De Bruyne is with his first, he recycles back, but that's not enough. Udogie takes it back, Saka takes it back again, and we can see now mistakes from both ends. But Saka is running maybe a potential cross to Henry. He decides to just be patient, pass it to Rice. Another pass, and Haaland scores the first goal of the game. That was a really good, quick thinking. He expected the offside try to come, so he decided to first pass it to Haaland, and he scored the first goal of the game.
Yeah, Haaland was through on goal there. No one in sight in terms of center backs, and fantastic decision making there from our guy Shells, because he knew exactly where to put it. Haaland would be in the exact situation to score that goal there, and very, very impressive. Unfortunate for Chris Jakeman there, because he couldn't get to it in time. There was no way to defend that type of situation.
Yeah, it's hard, because when you find yourself in those 1v1 situations, you gotta kind of offside trap and pray to God. But yeah, again, the first time pass by Haaland was really good, and now he finds himself with a really good long over the top through ball to Haaland. He decides to run, maybe shoot, yeah, but well defended by Virgil van Dijk. And yeah, how do you stop Haaland? That's a good question we've been asking.
I don't know if we're ever going to find an answer for that one. I do like the Rodri at right back. I think that I don't know if it will quite do it, but I've seen a few situations in the first 2 games today where he's been defending him somewhat well. And then Virgil van Dijk is another opportunity to do that, but he's almost impossible to stop at this point.
Yes, we can see in this beautiful chance, Hullet decides maybe a finesse. It was well read by Van Dijk. I gotta say, Chris Jakeman was a little bit lucky, because he did move the keeper to the near post, so that was the AI blocking. But instead, you need to find that lock in those situations. Haaland decides to pass it back to Henry. Henry recycles. Whoa, that's a beautiful over the top through ball, but Van Dijk will create to Saka.
Chris Jakeman is creating some dangerous situations here for Shells. I think that he's actually being pretty unpredictable in terms of his attack, and I do think that if he continues at this rate, we will see a goal from here soon, because although Shells is defending very, very well, even I'm very, very impressed with how he's attacking.
I agree with you, because he did anticipate the offside trap with that long over the top through ball, but you gotta defend well, and at the moment he's being punished with the goalkeeper movement precisely by that save by Alisson. Now, that's a really good chance, taken quick, Nah, Haaland. It's curious to see the way. Ooh, the corner has been taken different, you know, near post, penalty point, taking quick, taking short. There's not much you can do against Haaland in those situations.
Now, you said corners. I think it's really interesting because I've been having a few conversations with players backstage, and they sit there for hours perfecting their corner tactics. And I do think that there's a science to it this year. And if you perfect it, you are way more likely to score. I'd even put it at 80% more likely to score that goal if you perfect that corner tactic, which generally is trying to get it to Haaland. We don't really see a lot of going short anymore. They're
really
sending it all the way in and then hoping that it gets to Haaland's forehead, essentially.
I do think taking it short is a mistake, because if you take it quick to Haaland, or even if you decide to just play your luck and maybe try to go near post or back post, I think the chances are better than just take it short. So yeah, you gotta practice it, definitely. We can see now Chris Jakeman is switching up the play. Rodri decides to he did try to do a skill in there, but he missed. I do think he started really well at the start of the game, Chris Jakeman, especially those first 20 minutes. But now he's been finding himself a little bit rushed. But again, this is a brilliant chance by him. No, maybe a little bit rushed. I don't know if you agree, Casey.
Yeah, a little bit rushed. I think that maybe he started off feeling a bit more creative than what he is now. And now Shels is able to predict what he's doing. And I think that he needs to go back to that more risk-taking mindset and continue to push forward. Because, I don't know, I think that maybe that first goal from Shels off-put Chris Jakeman a little bit. And he's been setting back because he doesn't want to open himself up for another opportunity for Shels to score. But, yeah, he needs to adjust something here going into the next half.
This is the end of the first half. You can see Crystal Palace and Shels is leading the game 1-0 at the moment against Everton. And still, all to play. We have the second half and we have the second leg to play. But what do you think about this first half? Are you liking what you see so far?
I like what I first liked what I was seeing from Chris Jakeman, and that quickly went out the window because he did shift up a little bit. But Shels has been consistent. I think that is one word that we can always call Shels, is consistent. He's always a very professional player, very defensive. We don't see a massive scoreline from him, not too many goals in comparison to someone like Goal Poacher or someone like that. But he does try to keep possession and just stay as consistent as possible. And so that is exactly what we're seeing from him. But again, we're only seeing one goal. It is 1-0. And so it's a dangerous situation for Shels to be in because Chris Jakeman can be right back in this game in an instant.
Yeah, I mean, a corner, a cross, one finesse shot, anything can happen and it's just 1-1. But I agree with you about Shels being a consistent player because as Richard mentioned when he was analyzing, Shels' strong point, in my opinion, is the defense. And that's something we talked about with Ryan, former teammate, yesterday. His defense wasn't there. As simple as that. His defense wasn't there in the group stage, but now he's been defending well, he's been offside trapping, he's been manually switching to the center backs. He's been lucky a few times as well in this match, but he hasn't conceded a goal at the moment. So for me, the main thing for Shels to win this game and to pretty much win the whole Premier League is to find his defense again, and I think he's finding it.
So question for you. Would you say you were going into this second leg?
Okay.
A 1-0 scoreline is a dangerous one. Would you rather be taking in a game being down by 1 or up by 1? Because in my opinion, I'd rather be down by 1, I think.
I know what you mean, and we talked about this with Leah just a few minutes ago. I think it's better to be leading the game 1-0 because, I mean, you have the advantage. But in some way, I played the second legs in the Portuguese league. And in some ways, when your opponent loses and you pick up a result of just, let's say, 0-1 or 0-2, it feels like you don't have any pressure at all. Like,
you become complacent.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, your opponent, your teammate lost his match, so the pressure kind of is on him because it doesn't matter, because if you just, let's say you played really well and you win by 1 game, it was your opponent's teammate fault at some way. So I do feel like sometimes when you lose the game, when your teammate loses the game by 1 goal, all the pressure is off you,
right,
and then you perform well. So that's really a good question. I do think it goes both ways in a way. But yeah, we can see now Crystal Palace is attacking by Rodri. Chelsea is taking his time. He decides to try to look for the pass to Henry. Virgil passes to De Bruyne. It is a really brilliant play. Hold it. Oh, nice tackle. Manual tackle by Rodri. But again, I think Chelsea is finding his form at the moment.
Yeah, I think that his ball movement is really spectacular.
Yep.
The way that he is able to push it into that box there, and he's patient as well. He's not rushing those passes. And although that was a fantastic tackle, I thought that that was going to be through on goal. I really did.
Yeah, same for me, especially, this is a big mistake, switching up the play by Van Dijk. He decides to pass it back to Rice. Maybe another pass to De Bruyne. Yeah, he finds him. That's a big mistake, but he finds the ball again. Offside trap. Yeah, still all to play. But yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes it's okay to be patient. Like you just mentioned goal poacher, for example. Goal poacher just tries to go for the goal. Yeah, and he finds those 1v1 situations. And sometimes, as Schulz did, you maybe take a few extra touches. And he was unlucky because of the tackle by Rodri. But I do think it was perfectly played, that situation.
I feel like a player like Schulz, it's almost better because you're less susceptible to a counterattack.
Yep.
Your players are staying in their position more often than not, and it's a more safe way to play, even though there's probably only a 1 or 2 goal difference in every single match. But overall, you're able to play a safer game, a smarter game, and I do respect it because Schulz has played this way throughout the entirety of his career.
We have to remind people at home that this is the first leg, the Xbox leg, between Crystal Palace and Everton, Schulz and Chris Jakeman. And still, all to play, we have the second leg as well. And now Hullet pass it back to De Bruyne. He decides to recycle it, but he's taking his time. Maybe he's looking for the offside trap. No, the player lock it to Haaland, Haaland to Hullet. And Henry decides to maybe twist and turn a little bit more. He decides to pass it back, yeah. He's passing it. He decides to take his time. But Schulz is not overcommitting. As we can see, he takes the ball back. And again, the patience was there in the defense. He didn't pull any defenders out of position. He recovered the ball.
Yeah, I think he's both patient on the attack and also on the defense, which is very, very impressive from Schulz here. Because even from a casual level, a lot of players, one of their biggest things is pulling their center backs out of position, going too much on the defense, going into tackles that you maybe should not have tried to go into. And it really just puts you in a risky situation for your center back to try to recover off of that, especially if you miss that tackle and try to get back into it. Because oftentimes, if you miss a tackle, you're done for.
Yeah, and especially with a second man press, sometimes you press that second man press and hope to find yourself in a 2v1 situation with your defenders against the strikers. But yeah, if he just twists, turns, and finds a play exactly as he's doing, there's not much you can do. So you have to be patient and scoring this beautiful finesse with the finesse plus by Thierry Henry, one of the better players we can find at the moment. He was patient, he found the angle, and he finessed it.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a different, more confident side of Schulz that we did not see in the group stage here. Fantastic movement of one of those new items, Henry, in this game. And I don't know, I just think he is doing so much better than he was in the group stage. We didn't see this type of confidence, this type of momentum from him. Even, we can't see his player cam, but on his face, you could tell going into today, he's a different player.
Yeah, 100%. And especially the defense is there, which is the most important thing, because it's really hard to defend that kind of situation when your opponent is just passing it back and forth between the midfielders and the attackers, because as we know, we're playing the 4-3-2-1, and it's 3 midfielders against 2. So if you pull one of them out, your defense will be a mess in a second. So for Schulz to find that balance between just keeping it patient, offside trapping it, switching it between midfielders and center backs back and forth really well. When you have your chance in the attack, if you finesse it as he did with the playstyle plus, you'll score. And I do think Henry should be in every starting 11 in this game, because as we just saw, he's amazing.
Expensive though.
Yeah, expensive. I cannot afford him.
Neither can I.
Yeah, but for me, it's curious to see, because I was talking with Matti backstage. Obviously, they play tomorrow, so it's nothing definitive. But he told me he wasn't liking Henry as much, and I told him, like, that's a mistake. I'm using what Henry can do, but again, he was using those strong attackers. So I know agility plays a factor, but would you start Henry if you were playing here in the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, from everything that I've seen, I've been very, very impressed. I think that in terms of attack, Haaland's a must. You need
Yep.
him in there. I'm kind of iffy on Ginola.
Yep.
I don't necessarily like his body type in terms of how he moves, and so I do prefer a player like Henry.
Okay.
He's a little bit more agile. So pairing someone like Henry and Haaland up top, I think it could be really, really offensively lethal.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you, especially if you play with Hullet as well in the top, because what can you do against Hullet, Haaland, and Henry? There's not much you can do. And
Not
as
much.
you can see on this clip right here in this beautiful attack by Shells, if you just sit back and forth, and maybe something we have not seen yet from Shells are crosses. And that's weird because Shells is really a good crosser, so maybe in a few seconds we could see that. But now he has to take his time, and maybe possibly the last kick of the game, because it's the 86th minute now. I don't think he needs to rush. Do you think 2-0 is a good result for the second leg?
I think so. I think that he should be proud of himself going to this, especially knowing that the person on the other end ready
Yeah.
to pick up the controller is Nick Snep. And I probably wouldn't trust any other competitor going into this second leg more than I would trust Nick Snep. And I think that Shell should be very, very proud because 2-0 against a great player like Chris Jakeman. And I think that Nick Snep will continue the momentum that Shells has provided him.
So last kick of the game by Shells, Udogi is passing it back and forth to Rice. He decides to pass it to De Bruyne. He looked for an extra pass to Henry, but this is it. The game is going to end 2-0. Crystal Palace takes the lead in this first leg. Shells with a massive win and a really great performance, especially in the defensive side of things, just take the advantage to the second leg. But now, all to play between Ranieri and Nick Snep. And what do you expect now in the second leg?
Honestly, I anticipate the momentum continuing forward for Crystal Palace, but you never know what could happen. There's been so much time in between the group stage and now, and Zaneri could have gone to the dashboard and really worked on everything. And I know that they ended up bottom of the group, so they probably were very unhappy with their performance. And that's a type of motivation that a lot of players need. You have that wake-up call in order to do that. And 2 goals, honestly, is not a lot. He could come back from this, but going up against someone like Nick Snep, I don't know how you prepare for that, to be honest.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Even though he won 2 matches on the group stage, the Everton playing, Ranieri, 6 out of 12 points is decent. It's really good. But you know you're playing against probably top 3 players in the competition right now. You lost 2-0 in the first leg. I mean, it's tough. It's a really tough game for him. But again, it's all to play, and I do think the pressure is off your shoulders, because if you lose, it's the normal thing to do. But if you win, it's a massive comeback against arguably top 3 players in the competition. So let's see.
Let's see indeed. And here we are going into this second leg for Everton versus Crystal Palace. And as we know, Crystal Palace is going into this with a 2-0 lead. And we will see how Nick Snep and Daniel Sikari. Fantastic start.
Fantastic start. And yeah, I mean, it did catch us out of position, because that cross, I wasn't expecting that cross with Rodri to Haaland. But again, the L1 cross is really, really effective at the moment, especially if Haaland is the one who scores from a header. And again, what a better way to start the game than scoring a great goal and coming back against Crystal Palace. 1-2.
You mentioned that Shells wasn't doing too many crosses. It's almost as if Daniel heard you and he's like, you know what, I got a cross for you.
Yeah, and he has to be patient now, but because I think from his point of view, scoring a goal in the first kick of the game, if you concede now, I mean, it's kind of, this is brilliant. It's kind of, I don't know, a tough pill to swallow, you know, in a way, because I do think if the first half ends like 1-0, it's good for you in a way. Like, you've managed to stop Nick Snep offense, which is a hard thing to do, and you scored the goal. And for me, the main thing for Ranieri in this match is not concede any goals, which is a hard thing to do against Nick Snep, but let's see.
Right, I think that for Zaneri here, the number one thing, but we could be through on goal.
Poor touch by Hullet. He decides to recycle it back to De Bruyne. Maybe another pass, no. Maybe a possible cross as well, no. Again, he's patient enough to pass it back to Varane. And now the Crystal Palace defense is in position, so it's going to be tough for him. He's going to have to try to pass it or switch up the turn to Rodri. Udogie is there, and he... Oof, this is... Oof. I mean, they're finding themselves in top position with those aerial battles between Gullit and Van Dijk. But again, the aerial plus by Van Dijk takes advantage in there.
Yeah.
Ranieri brought the fight, if we're honest. Like, so props to him, even if he doesn't manage to win the thing. I think the attitude is right.
No, I think so as well. I think the number one thing for Ranieri coming into this is going to be a mindset. He cannot go into this being scared of Nick Sneb, and that is not a mindset that you can going into this stage, especially during knockouts where this is your last chance to continue on with the competition. And he's starting off so strong with a goal minutes into the game is the perfect combination to continue that momentum and mindset and possibly switch the likelihood of them winning this game.
Ranieri is at the moment not offside trapping enough, in my opinion, but it wasn't necessary because, oh, that's a mistake. Well, not a mistake. He pressed and he tackled and it was a fault. But I do think the play was over, if I'm honest. And now he gives Nick Sneb another chance to attack. He passes back to Gullit. He decides to finesse it to the back of the net. That's a brilliant goal at the moment by Nick Sneb, and that's what we expect from these great players. Finesses into the back of the net. Shells did it in the exact same position in the first leg. Now Nick Sneb did it as well, and it's 1-1.
You could tell that both of them probably do a lot of friendlies because they're actually playing very similar Shells and Nick Sneb, and even the way in which they're attacking is very, very impressive. And the decision to finesse with Gullit there was the optimal decision. There wasn't much that Ranieri could do to defend against that. And I think that if Nick Sneb continues to attack like that, I'm not quite sure what Ranieri can do in this situation because it's almost as if the light bulb went off for him.
Yeah, it's really tough in this situation. Gullit again, he decides to recycle it back. Oh, that was beautiful. The controlled sprint into a driven pass for a first-time shot, but then the post was right because I do think he tried to go for the post in which the keeper wasn't, but again, it was a first touch, wasn't easy at all. And yeah, I think Ruud Gullit as a 94 rated icon at the moment, and especially those playstyle pluses. Power shot plus and finesse shot.
I wish I could get him.
Why do people start him as a right back? For me, it doesn't make sense. Like, it could have, I mean, it's finesse shot and power shot plus. They're perfect for a striker. Why would you use him as a right back?
I mean, I think that these matches that we're seeing today is reason enough to make sure that you are having him in your attack. If you can afford him, of course. I would love to back him. I wish. I can dream.
That's a brilliant tackle by Van Dijk, probably the best centre-back in the game at the moment. And that's, you said it before, and you were 100% right. The thing with Nick Sneb is he can go short, he can try to find those 1v1 situations, he can cross it, he can finesse, he can do everything on the attack. So really, as I said before, you have to defend it perfectly. And even though if you defend it perfectly, you may concede a goal as he did with Gullit. I do think he needs to offside trap a little bit more, because if not, he's going to be put inside the box a little, just play by play, and he won't be able to defend.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how versatile Nick Sneb is of an attacker. And it's not to discredit his defending as well, because he's actually very consistent on that end. But it makes it so his opponent is never understanding or anticipating what he's going to be doing. You can't really read a player like Nick Sneb because he has so many different options in his locker to choose from. And I think that unless you are continuously pushing forward and really keeping him on his toes with that offside trap, there's not much else you can do.
Yeah, he's been locking with his rebound. He decides to step over into Haaland, step over, cancel again, step over, cancel again. Come on. He's lucky with the rebound, and he scores a finesse shot in the last kick of the first half. He was lucky with the reflection, but then he was lucky again because the finesse was a red
time.
But he scored, and again, I mean, mechanically, step over, cancel again. he's one of the best players in the Premier League for a reason.
He really is. And unfortunate deflection of the ball there. It kind of was gifted to his feet. But at the end of the day, you have to capitalize on those type of situations. And that is exactly what Nick Snebb is doing.
Yeah, and especially he found himself in that 1v1 situation against the keeper. And he could have, I don't know, maybe normal shot. He could have went for, I don't know, a driven shot. But I do think when you're inside the area, especially with a Finesse Plus player, you have to go with the finesse because it was red, but anyways, it went in. And now Ranieri, it's a tough position for him because he was playing well. But you find yourself in a you have to score 3 goals in the second half against Nick Snebb, which he's a really good attacker, but a good defender as well. So mentally, what do you do?
Mentally, I think that you need to use this halftime to reset and potentially, I think he needs to defend better. At the end of the day, he needs to make sure he's stopping Nick Snebb and somehow pushing forward and taking a bit more risk on the attack to create those chances for himself, because 3 goals is a lot. 6-minute halves. This season, we either see 9 minutes or 6 minutes. And so it goes a lot quicker, especially when they've been competing in other competitions where they have a bit more time. They don't have time anymore. There's 45 minutes left of this half. And if Daniel Ranieri is going to come back, he's going to have to take a few more risks, push forward on the defense, and it might open him up a bit more for getting scored on as well.
Definitely. As we start just the second half of the second leg, we'll just update on the match we're seeing in the Stream A. At the moment, Thomas Lees has just scored a goal to put him in front. He's leading 2 goals to 3 at the moment, but still, it's a minute 55, so it's still all to play, same as this match. And Thomas Lees is probably one of those players who do you expect to win Premier League title in a LAN environment someday. Would you agree?
Yeah, I was the most impressed with Tom Lees in the group stage. He was a fantastic player. A couple unlucky situations for him. I think that he had a lot of scoring opportunities that he wasn't able to capitalize on. But overall, as a player, I think from last year to this year, he's improved so much.
Yeah, definitely. He's been playing really well in those Cash Cups online, in the qualifiers for the FC Pro again. But if you want, let's go back to this match because we see right now Hullet crossing it to Henry. He decides to finesse again and score the 3rd goal to make it really hard to Daniel Ranieri to come back.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough mountain to climb for Daniel Ranieri here and Everton. But he does love the finesse shot. I think that he is realizing that that is working very, very well for him, and he's continuing to use that. And honestly, like, his pitch IQ, his FC IQ is so great in this game, Nick Snebb. And I think that a lot of players can learn from him.
Yeah, I mean, I could learn from him, especially because the way he decides to counterattack when it's those 3v1 situations, he could have went for, I don't know, maybe keep running with the player who was running. He could have went for a, I don't know, driven pass into the striker as well, but he decided to cross it. And again, what I really like about Nick Snebb is just he goes for things. So he knew the angle, he knew the space, he knew if he finessed it, it would have been a goal. And that's what it was. So 3 shots, 3 finesses, 3 goals. He's playing well, especially with the player locks, the build-up. I don't know. What else can you expect from a player?
Yeah, I think that both players, him and Shells, are doing everything right. And that's exactly what you need in a day like this, where you have 1 game and it could be your last, or you can continue forward and hopefully push to play tomorrow, and that inevitably is the goal. There's money on the line. There are spots on the line to continue with the season after the ePremier League, and this is just one of those stepping stones to get to the next stage.
That's a brilliant long over the top through pass to Saka. He decides to... Oh, come on. I mean, I cannot commentate over that. I mean, a croqueta into a fake pass, then he kind of switched and turned between a McGiddy cancel spin. I mean, the amount of things he can do in just 1 second. I mean, I told you that's like 3 skills in a second.
If you blink, you miss like 3 of them.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, he's performing at his best at the moment. He passes it to Haaland. 1v1 situation. Again, he finds the pass to Henry, and he scores the 4th goal of the game. This time it wasn't a finesse, but still it went in by Thierry Henry, the main man. and the game is pretty much over, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't foresee any type of comeback happening here. But what I love about watching Nick Sneb play in this game is you can see the confidence grow over time. He's continuing to add more unique skill moves in his attack. And I think he started off a bit slow. But once he got his footing, he was able to continue on, and he was like, all right, I got this. And he becomes more and more creative on the attack, and we're just seeing some beautiful gameplay here.
Yeah, I think we have to talk about how Nick Sneb started conceding in the first kick of the game. But then he just went on and on. I mean, we've seen finesses, we've seen player lock fakes as well. We've seen crosses, we've seen everything. That's what you gotta do if you wanna win the whole thing. So I don't think it surprises us, Nick Sneb's performance, but come on, stop it with the step over cancel. You know how hard it is to do that mechanically, but he finds himself in those situations over and over again. I do think if Daniel Ranieri wanted to compete a little bit more, he should have been offside trapping a little bit too, just as he did now, because against Nick Sneb, if he puts your defense inside the box, you're screwed. Simple as that.
There's literally nothing you can do because he's so creative on the attack, and he puts together every single move. It's almost like he's playing chess. He's 3 steps ahead. He's thinking 3 more moves, 3 more passes, 3 more skills ahead, and unless you're able to read him and anticipate that sort of situation, there's nothing you can do in terms of defending with your center backs.
Not really. And I do think when they're playing at their best, as in this example, Shells defending at his best, and then Nick Sneb attacking at his best, there's not much you can do as an opponent, because this is the Crystal Palace we expected in the group stage, definitely. Not the Shells we saw specifically. Nick Sneb with 5 wins in 5 games, which is, I don't know, something else. And we may see a crossing here. No, he decided to step over for a little bit, but still, the game is pretty much over, unfortunately, for Everton. And now, I do think Ranieri should be happy with his performance throughout the whole competition, but Chris Jakeman, still, he did qualify to this tournament, which is not an easy thing to do, but if he finds himself coming back next year, 5 matches, 5 losses, that's something you cannot afford to do here at the bigger stage.
Right. I think that he was very happy to even qualify for this competition, so he should be very, very proud of himself. But you know what? He has a few things on his checklist to go back and work on. He has a year to figure that out. And Chris Jakeman, fantastic first season qualifying for Everton. But it does look like their journey might be ending right here.
Especially when the referee decides the game is over. So Crystal Palace goes through to the next round, winning 6-1 convincingly against Everton, especially with that Nick Sneb performance we just saw. And again, now the main match we're gonna see, because let me give you a quick spoiler. Tottenham Hotspur are winning at the moment 2-5 against Newcastle, so we can say they're through to the next round. Crystal Palace against Tottenham.
Oh my goodness. I'm getting butterflies even thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go back into the replays. Again, the finesse. You expected a pass to go to Henry, but it didn't go to Henry, and then again, those finesses, he found them every single time.
Even if they were red-timed as well.
Yeah, I mean, the finesses are strong for a reason now. We know that Trivelas are not being used at the moment because they are not really OP, especially after the patch. But if you finesse, you'll find your way inside the net. And again, as I said before, Tottenham against Crystal Palace.
Man, I'm interested because they shift in terms of the order that they play. So next up will be PlayStation first, Xbox next. Do you think that has a big effect on everything? I think it does.
It probably does, and we'll see it in next round. We'll be going shortly to break, and we'll see what happens in the next round. Thank you so much, Casey. Back to you guys.
very much. Hopefully Bentancur is watching this and will let us know on the socials. Hashtag ePremier League. Coming up after the break, the final 4 teams who get to play: Wolves versus Burnley and Arsenal versus Sheffield United.
Luton Town, they are not stopping anytime soon. They are absolutely loving it.
What am I saying again? I feel like coming into it, I didn't really know what to expect as it was my first LAN, but I obviously turned up on the day, and that's all that matters.
Villa comes in! Marcus Rashford opens the account for Luton Town.
First game I was up against Shells, ex-champion in 2020.
And just like that, Shells replying in the best way you can.
Crystal Palace probably the best team in the group coming into it, so we obviously had to compete with them.
There's Rashford, fired into the back of the net.
I know I could get a result, I know I could beat him.
De Bruyne into Haaland!
Going into the last game, we thought it was possible. Of course, we didn't expect it because Palace were definitely the favourites in their games.
So far, so good for Luton Town.
But as soon as I had the scoreline, the commentator saying Shells was down 3 goals.
Palace gutted, as you can tell.
As soon as I had that, I knew if we win our games, then we'll top the group.
3, the goals are flying in for Luton Town.
Felt very good.
This is a full-time result, huge result, Gravison, for Luton Town.
To succeed on this stage, you just have to stay focused throughout your game.
This is only just the start of the journey.
They have done enough, they will be topping the group, and it will be 2 of the newer players onto the scene that have just surprised the pack.
It was important to make a statement because topping the group means that you're fast-tracked to top 8, so you avoid the first day of play.
We are one of the underdogs going into it, but on a good day, you never know what could happen. We could go all the way.
I'll back us.
I don't.
A reminder there of what we have coming up on day 2 of our ePremier League weekend, where Luton Town will join the 7 other qualifying teams in the quarterfinals. FG, you're watching the Luton Town boys dominate Group C. I say dominate, I mean they had to kind of share bragging rights with CPFC. That group was decided on goal difference.
Yeah, the only group to be decided on goal difference during the last round. I mean, what an impact they made. They were relatively unknown going into the tournament, and I feel like they're 2 guys which we just saw from the VT to watch out for.
Crazy that Harvey in his EPL debut did not lose a single game, 3 wins, 1 draw. But we've got to talk more about what's happening today. So let's take a look at the bracket and find out more about who's still in it to win it. Because if you look to to the middle of that bracket, FG. That is a very exciting set of games.
It is indeed an exciting set of games, and my eyes draw straight towards Crystal Palace against Tottenham. We saw Tex speaking about it on commentary before. It is a sensational clash of two titans.
Yeah.
In Tom Lees and of course Shells, and we've got Nick said there as well, and we've got Lyrics as well. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
Well, I said before the break, 4 teams yet to play and to save their round in the competition. This is a knockout bracket. Wolves v Burnley on the mainstream, Arsenal versus Sheffield United, and Michael Fisher actually making his debut in the studio because he missed the action last time round due to illness.
Yeah, he did indeed. It's great to see him back, of course. He must have lost his voice, I think, a little bit like you did in the last set, but it's great to see him, and this is what it's all about. I mean, every player, regardless of what happened in the groups, is allowed to be here for today, and it's an opportunity that they have to take because it's knockouts.
They do have to take it. However, Sheffield United undoubtedly the underdogs in this one, even though Billy Joe did have his moments back in January. Who do you think is going to be taking it on the B stream?
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield United are the underdogs, but we've seen so far that underdogs can come out. I mean, I think the first game is so vitally important. We saw that especially with the Manchester United game earlier on in the show, and I think I'm keeping my cards close to my chest. I'm not doing any curse of the commentators like Richard Buckley likes to do.
You're not allowed to do that. You're a guest, not a commentator.
No answers from me.
Fine, I'll bully you during the break. Coming up now, though, Sheffield United are taking on Arsenal on the B stream, and on our main show, Burnley are back in force against Wolves.
Well then, this is the big one now. Before we head into what is going to be another incredible round of action, you saw some of the fixtures potentially coming up. You see Spurs against Crystal Palace jumping off the page, because whoever wins that will be playing Manchester City tomorrow. Gravison, we haven't been disappointed yet, have we, here at the Premier League?
No, especially with the level of FC we have seen at the moment, because we've not only seen great matches, but individually, I think we've seen a big step up from January to now the knockout stages. I think they are performing at their best, all of the players, and I do think we gotta give them props because they've trained at home, and I do think mechanically we've seen advancements. I mean, in the 1v1 situation, in the player switching as well. I do think we are in a great level of FC at the moment, so props to all of the players.
And also the teams. The teams have got so much better, so many incredible items in the game. Let's preview this one for you. Then, as we said, it's a big one. It's Wolves against Burnley. Obviously, one of these two will be going through to the next stage in the knockouts. They'll be taking, obviously, the winner between Arsenal in their difficult matchup against Sheffield United there. That's obviously our round of 16. We say goodbye to 8 Premier League clubs, and then suddenly only 12 remain. After that round, there'll be just 8 clubs for tomorrow's quarter-final stages here in London for the Premier League. Remember, there is some incredible prizes on the line. A £100,000 prize pool. E-Champions League tickets, FC Pro World Championship tickets, money can't buy prizes. You do not want to miss any of the action this weekend. Let's have a look at Wolves' breakdown of their journey so far in this competition. They did come third in their group. Luton Town obviously did win that. Crystal Palace came second. This was back in late January now. They only did lose one game, but for Mitch Haywood's a very experienced man when it comes to the ePremier League. I mean, if Sheffield United were to win, he would be playing against his old club. His form in this tournament is always really solid, Gravison. As you can see, they did not drop a single game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, in my opinion, Wolves' performance is really solid in the group stage. I mean, just getting 13 points out of 24 possible, it's good. It's not enough to top the group, as we know, because Luton trooped it. But anyways, if you see this performance, you think this team should be really strong in the knockout format. And I do think they're the favorites against Burnley, because Burnley didn't perform as well. 6 points out of 24 possible is not good at all. But then, again, it doesn't matter. Like, it was January, now it's the game changed, everything changed.
It has. So the one thing I've definitely noticed, Gravison, is players that maybe weren't as strong individually have come back so much stronger. You know, we saw in the nice way, Lyrics. Lyrics was definitely not at the races back in January. He's completely turned it around, and he put up a great performance there, we just saw.
Let me give you 2 more as well, because Lyrics for sure, but then Dragon, 5-1, he didn't play well at all in group stage. And then Shells, he wasn't playing good in the group stage. 2-0 result convincingly, especially in the defense. So I do think we are seeing something here.
experience matters, man. And Hayward, let's see.
One thing that I love about this matchup as well, obviously with the Burnley players, you've got Sam Ahmad and Brad Colston, two massive Burnley fans. For them, this means everything just to represent the club. Obviously Joey Sharp there as well, one of the coaches behind the two players. He used to actually play for Wolves in past ePremier League tournaments as well. He's had to choose which way he wants to go on this game, but we are going to be jumping into it as it stands now. Kicking off first and foremost with our Xbox leg. Mitch Hayward against Brad Colston. Balls from left to right in that away strip. Burnley from right to left as this game is underway. Also is Arsenal, Sheffield United on the B stream. Remember, the winner of that against the winner of this will be in our next round of play today. As everyone's been saying, when's extra time coming, Graf? We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it yet, which is weird, especially in the first half, but still. I don't know what to expect from this match because I really like the way Brad Colston attacks, especially he's really vertical. But again, Hayward, solid player. I mean, he didn't lose any single games in the group stage. And as you said, when it comes to knockout format, he won't beat. I don't think he will be losing like convincingly. But then Brad Colston scores a lot of goals, so I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Let's see.
Well, one of the most interesting stats about Mitch Hayward as this corner does come in now, he's one of the few players that actually records the most passes in games. He averages 167 passes in his individual matches, which you're thinking, is that really a stat? Well, everyone's pretty much been about 120 to 130 passes in an average game. Don't get me wrong, I don't normally count my passes at home, but in short, he likes to keep possession.
Yeah, like if we could just point out to the people watching at home, this could potentially be, I'm not saying to the caliber of the players, I'm just saying the play styles. It could be Liverpool against City. Like City just builds up slowly in a way, and Liverpool in 3 passes they can score a goal. So this could potentially be what we see now between Mitch and Brad.
Was defended well by Rodri. Does come in at right back. You're wondering why Rodri, defensive midfielder, is in at right back. Well, there's a 6-foot-plus frame of Erling Haaland on the pitch and a Team of the Year build, which is just undefendable, as we've come to learn across the last couple of months. And these pro players at their top level have been trying to work out the perfect way to stop him. Speaking of Rodri now, there's Haaland at that back post. Flick on, his headers and volleys in the box. He is offside, Bukayo Saka. But you're just seeing there a very small intricacy of how simple it can be to create a chance out of nothing. Long ball forward, flick it across. Another day, Saka's onside, and it's a difficult save to make for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the few things you can do against that cross and then knock down from Haaland is probably offside trap, as Brad did in this chance, because there's not much you can do. Even though if you switch up or if you player lock, it could still get to the striker. So it was really smart to do an offside trap, and it worked out well. Now Haaland, in this chance, he decides to go forward. Well defended by Virgil van Dijk. Still, he gets a rebound. He finds Gullit.
A second chance on the edge of the box. De Bruyne and Declan Rice actually gets a start in this one for Mitch Hayward. Henry can twist and turn. It was a time green finish, which basically put everything in the favour of Mitch Hayward. There's 2 shots on target. As he looks to create another one now. Rice not going to be the player to finesse from distance. De Bruyne might be. Still patient though as ever.
Yeah, but again, if you keep possession for more than 6 minutes, sometimes your players start to get a little bit slow. That's what happened with the pass to Haaland. But yeah, I think we've seen a really cool, calm and collected Brad Colston. This is not the Brad Colston we've seen in previous years in the Premier League, trying to attack a little bit more. But I do think he needs to find a little bit of more vertical passes in a way, because we've not seen much from him in 27 minutes.
For Burnley, unfortunately, they only won 1 game in the group stages back in January.
Yeah.
It was a struggle for them in what was a really difficult Group A. But as you said, we can refer back to the group stages all we want. Everyone came through the groups. Even if you came bottom of your group, you still did get the ticket through to the Premier League finals, which has given you a second chance to really go away, put it right. And as we've seen from a handful of teams, deliver on the biggest of stages for a lot of these players that are playing their first ever esports event. This is the beauty of the Premier League, giving Premier League fans the chance to represent their beloved clubs in a tournament with a £100,000 prize pool. Still goalless. 33 minutes in. Remember, we'll be jumping over to the PlayStation after this one. Kai Harris against Salman Ahmad. And it seems like we may have chosen the wrong game here because there's 3 goals in Arsenal against Sheffield United at the moment. Arsenal leading 2-1 in that game on the B stream. Declan Rice lofts it in. There's the one more flick on potentially Virgil van Dijk. Didn't know much about that one, but just did enough to get in the way.
I do think sometimes when you're playing and your opponent is passive, you start to get passive as well. Like, it's really easy to just fall asleep into a flow of a game, you know, in a way. But that's when you need to change this up. And this is a really long over the top through ball. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Palmer. 1-on-1 against Kai Havertz. The ball's just flicking around. There's the head down. There's Henry just offside. You've had a sort of good taste of this game so far, Gravison. 40 minutes in. It really has been a bit of a feeling out process.
Yeah, I mean, they're switching up the play.
So many switches.
Yeah, but I do think sometimes you need to drive and pass it to strikers as well, because you have to speed up things a bit. I mean, your opponent is expecting for you to just switch up the play in a way, so it's okay to do it again, but then when you get it into the other side of the pitch, you gotta speed things up, because if not, it's gonna be a 0-0 result with nearly 0 shots as well.
Keep an eye on the back post here, because Haaland will queue up for it if we're going to be seeing a lofted cross into the box. Declan Rice into De Bruyne. Hullet. Can he get round Van Dijk? Yes, he can. Well, unfortunately, the finish was not great.
I did really like how Mitch found himself in that 1v1 situation between Hullet and the centre-back. He decided to shoot. That's a really great chance. Maybe
he's gone direct there, hasn't he?
Yeah, maybe it's green, it's in. We don't know.
Went to half-time for both teams. It's one of the few games that's actually gone into a 0-0 at half-time. We've been spoiled for quite a few goals here in the ePremier League, so stay with us. There is more certainly to come in this second half. But we said that Mitch Hayward, look, he likes to keep the ball, he likes to keep possession, but all we saw there was just switch. Don't get me wrong. We know what the game plan is with Erling Haaland in the box. Keep in mind that there is another game taking place at the same time here. Arsenal leading 2-1 against Sheffield United over on the B stream. If you want to go and follow that one, you can see both players locked in there. That's Billy Joe up against EOJ2. And you can just see a chance. They're building nicely. I think they're about to go in to half-time as well in that game. RSD and Michael Fisher ready to step up when we change console there. Last couple of words going in from Kai Harris, the teammate of Mitch Hayward. He's been a familiar name when it comes to Wolves and their esports activities over the last couple of years. He has been heavily involved, and so has Brad Coulson as well. Proud Burnley fan. We're back on the way now, 0-0.
I think we got to clap that Steadicam guy. Wow, that was some take. Just pretty much throughout the whole arena. That was a really beautiful take. But yeah, coming back into the second half, I think we need something else. We need things happening, because at this moment they're playing regular. Like, they're not taking any risks, and they need to do it.
Let's see if Burnley want to take one of those risks now. Haaland's red times to finish. Goes to show you. Colston might be feeling a few nerves. So what we're seeing here, it's a late flick onto Erling Haaland, who's right at the back post waiting for it. There he is, and there's the time green. And just like that, Burnley will spring into this game, and we'll see again on the replay. It's the simple scenario of, you know where the ball's going, but it's a really late flick on into his position. Then you try and peel away, get the ball as far away as possible from any defensive aerial threat, such as Virgil van Dijk. Sorry. 50 minutes in, we finally have a breakthrough, and for Burnley, they'll take that all day long.
Yeah, it's really hard to stop those corner kicks, and in my opinion, there's only just one thing you can do. In the settings, you can change from manual to air and loose balls. So in default, it comes with air and loose balls. So when someone just takes the corner, it switches up automatically. So if you turn it to manual, you can maybe try to put Haaland against Haaland. It's not like a definite solution, but I do think you have to change those settings when you're a pro player, but because if not, that's what happens. It switches up between Haaland and other players, and there's not much you can do, really.
If it's your first time tuning into the Premier League, we are playing on Ultimate Team inside FC24. And to be brutally honest, normally you see sort of the same 9-10 players. Vincent Kompany comes into the fray of things for Burnley at the back. I mean, it's no surprise who he's partnered up alongside. It's always Virgil van Dijk +1. We've seen a few different variations, Gravison. I mean, Rafa Varane's had a few call-ups. Rio Ferdinand, his icon.
Gordon
for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a couple of centre-backs, a couple of full-backs. Yeah. Watch for the possible cross. He decides to pass it back.
You see the pause coming in from Wolves. They're not happy about some of his Hayward. He'll be looking for some sort of tactical change to break down this Burnley defensive structure.
This is good.
Saka finds De Bruyne. He's trying to get into the box. Where's he? The space. It's nearly a great win there for Henry. But Burnley able to play away from danger. Will that go for a goal kick or a corner? Goes for a corner and into a...
Not pass, because if I pass it, my opponent will take it. So if he's defending manually, I gotta go for the 1v1.
Well, Wolves with a great chance from this corner. Fortunately, didn't go anywhere near. Hayward was looking for it to go. Well, we just saw in that last game, didn't we, with Spurs, the importance of holding on to a 1-0 lead for your teammate to then come and take over the controller. And then what could happen, as we saw Tom Lees coming to life, Benson could get that upgrade for those that missed the game. Spurs with a massive 6-2 win against Newcastle. There's De Bruyne outside the boot. He's going to fall back again. Van der Sar keeping Wolves only 1 goal down. And another pause comes in again from Wolves. They're not happy still.
I'm sure they're not happy because Brad is quickly and easy finding the pass to the strikers, and when you find yourself in those situations over and over again, you're really uncomfortable as a defender.
Hayward, does he fancy a chance from this far out? De Bruyne again, still trying to work it. He just can't find the gaps. The passing lanes just won't open up, and as we say, there's been another goal that's gone in. It's an equaliser for Sheffield United against Arsenal. Over at our B stream, that's 2-2 now. De Bruyne, this is your chance to shoot. Back to Henry again. Still trying to manoeuvre around to find that killer pass or a pocket of space. Henry's offside. Possession will change hands again, and it's just a really frustrating day at the office for Wolves at the moment. They can't find a way through this Burnley backline.
It is frustrating, but
there was a few words between him and his teammate in Clay. There's only 1 goal down. We have to remember that. And there is still a second match to be played. An aggregate scoreline will determine who will be going through to play for Arsenal or Sheffield United. There's that famous big switch of play for Burnley. And Chilwell picking up possession. A second goal for them would be huge. Remember it wasn't a good day. Well, a few days for them back in January in the group stage, but just goes to show what can change.
Oof. That was close.
It was nearly a golden chance, wasn't it? Heung-min Son did so well just to set off a few of the oncoming runners.
I do think both of them are defending really well, and that's another reason why we're not seeing any chances. The offside trapping is correct. The player switching is correct as well. The use of the second man press is really good as well. So they're defending really well. We have to give them that.
Time to go for Wolves. It's more direct, it's more ruthless in the final third. You see a couple of changes there just to freshen things up. There's the room, there's the chance, and there's that goal that Mitch Hayward has been so patient for. He was probably thinking, would it ever come for him in this game? But he just got a little bit faster in the final third. He was more direct. The passes were punched into the feet of Hulla, who can eventually pull away. And that just sets up the tie. Even Stevens, with 4 minutes left heading into the second match.
Yeah, there is another thing he could have done, which he has done with both Bastian Schweinsteiger and Kevin De Bruyne. It's the playstyle plus, the bullet pass. First time bullet pass from Schweinsteiger to De Bruyne, first time bullet pass into a striker, and a beautiful goal. Playstyles are huge in this game. That's why you can see Thierry Henry with a finesse shot. That's why you see Haaland with the aerial plus. And for example, Tex uses all of the playstyle plus so well. I'm sure we'll see him making a difference tomorrow. Playstyles are such a thing right now.
They are game-changing, new for this year on FC24 Ultimate Team. And in time of 2 minutes is played, it will be a full-time 1-1 even Stevens between Wolves and Burnley at the end of match 1. But there is still much more to unfold between the two. A frustrating game for Mitch Hayward, who just couldn't really get going, could he, Gravison? He was frustrated by Burnley, he was frustrated by the play style of Brad Colston, but for Brad, there was a game plan to follow. It all worked out pretty well.
I think, yeah, Brad was feeling comfortable with the 1-0 result. He did have a couple of chances which could have went in, but he missed them, and then Mitch really did adjust well because that last goal was nearly impossible to defend against. But yeah, it's 1-1, it's the second leg now, and let's see what happens.
We have a special guest joining us in the commentary area. Leah Ravel joins us. Leah, I mean, we've seen some crazy matches. This is more of the lowest scoring of games we've seen before, but this is the beauty of it. Over 2 legs, the game can just change.
It can indeed, and that's the beauty of a 1-1 draw, is anything can happen in the second leg, and it's all up to the PlayStation players, so we'll see what happens. I don't have a box.
Don't worry.
I'm a little bit shorter.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Of course, you've been following some of the action, obviously, on our B stream as well, where there's been games taking place off stream. There's been some crazy games, especially the Aston Villa one.
Yes, yeah, that one was crazy. It could have gone either way. Aston Villa was leading. Brentford, it was Brentford, right? Brentford was leading, and then Aston Villa came back, and it was wild. Yeah, a lot of action over there.
90th minute, wasn't it? Last kick off the game. There's been some drama here at the Premier League so far. Don't worry, this is only day 1 of the competition. You can see us loading into the PlayStation game now. It's time for Salman Ahmad and Kai Harris to go head-to-head. It's a 1-1 scoreline. It's all to play for. I mean, it's just the best of 1 for these players now, Gravison, really. There's no scoreline to chase.
And again, if we go back to the group stage, which you don't have to think about the group stage as to a previous thing for it to decide like what's going to happen now. But Kai Harris did score loads of goals. He did get 7 points out of 12 possible, and Salman did just get 2 points out of 12 possible. So it looks like Kai Harris should be a favorite, but let's see what happens.
Well, it could be an early start for Burnley. And as this game is underway, so is the second leg of Arsenal up against Sheffield United. As the guys were saying, great to see Michael Fisher back here at the Premier League. Couldn't make the group stages, but back, who's ready than ever, and he's in a great position as well because it's 2-2 over there, Leah. I mean, they're both just smash and grabs this, but for RSD, he got a top 8 finish last year of Nottingham Forest, looking to do the same, or if not go further this year of Arsenal.
Yeah, RSD was very powerful last year with a really good performance for Nottingham, and I think, you know, this year as well is going to look to duplicate that performance.
Well, play a lot teased from Kai Harris, who is a familiar name when it comes to Wolves in the Premier League. He has been here a handful of times. And a few people were saying, Grav, sort of behind the scenes, that maybe they are a silent underdog to go quite some way in this tournament, Wolves.
I agree with that.
with that phrase because I mean Mitch, as we just saw, he's a really good and solid defender, and he manages to keep the possession as well, which is something you would probably find in a person who was playing the first leg. But then Kay, if we look at the stats, he played really well in the group stage, and internationally he's been playing really well in the qualifiers as well. So
that's a big win, that is, for Haaland. Snatched off the toes of Rafael Varane. Can Kai Harris make the most of this one? Back to De Bruyne. Can it turn? He can. He did time that shot green. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter. But to back up your point, he averages a lot of goals per game, just over 2.5 goals a game, what we saw in the group stages from him. And he will create chances, Leo. I think averaging 7 shots a game, when you play against him, you know you're going to have your hands full.
Definitely. I think, like Grab mentioned, he had a very strong group stage, and you know, he has a good experienced partner in Mitch as well. Both of them have been representing Wolves for a long time, playing together for a long time. Obviously, Mitch being an E-Lion as well.
This is good.
This could be a big chance. Kai Harris through with Haaland. It's 1-on-1 against the goalkeeper. It's down. It's through. It's going to be a tap-in. He gets the ball, squeezes it through. I mean, I thought the chance may have gone there, but for Kai, it certainly didn't. Still remain composed. A little ball roll. And the timing of that finish to somehow put it through the player's legs.
I mean, Haaland is just a force of nature, really, because from the right back just kind of attacked in a way. So Kay knew it was a chance for, if you got back the ball, then a player lock and really a through pass to Haaland. But then from a really 50-50 situation, he finds himself against the keeper.
The nutmeg too is crazy.
That's Haaland in a word.
Split second earlier or later, it just doesn't happen, does it?
No.
Bene dives into the tackle, goes through his legs, and just like that, Wolves from 1-0 down in leg one. They do lead 2-1 now. Chance to break away again. It's a long ball forward. Haaland's always going to try and jump onto that one. Still all square between Sheffield United and Arsenal. 2-2 over there.
Right back, I think. The pass wasn't meant to be to Henry. That's a shame. It would have been a brilliant build-up.
You saw the run trigger, didn't you, from the full-back there. I mean, this Declan Rice shout has been an interesting choice from both players.
I was just going to say, it's the first time we've seen Declan Rice, no?
I've seen it before in the game between Crystal Palace and Everton, but yeah, we expect Rodri and Vieira to be the right backs. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many good players he can use.
Good step over. Haaland just trying to bundle his way forward.
Offside. Offside. Offside.
It's an offside, it won't count. Well, back to the point, I think we're so used to seeing Bruno Fernandes in there alongside Kevin De Bruyne. Declan Rice just offers you what you need in that role.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, it has to be the play styles, because De Bruyne has the bullet pass and the finesse, but then Bruno has the long pass as well, so they're just too good.
Bene still in possession here, Burnley. In these final 10 minutes looking for an equaliser.
Nice defend.
Had to be aggressive to Virgil van Dijk, and certainly that's what he was. His new birthday icon, Ruud Gullit, comes as a centre forward. Has been causing all sorts of problems. Saka back to De Bruyne. There's a player lock tease. He's going to use it into Henry, and it's a red-timed shot. You imagine if it was timed green, it could be nestling into the back of the net.
Definitely. I think Grav and I talked about this a lot in the games over on the B stream, but we haven't seen quite as many aerial threats as perhaps we thought we would have, given the other competitions this season.
Commentator curse. It's coming.
Well, I wouldn't mind a few more goals.
I wouldn't as well. I think they're coming from Kai Harris' side because he's attacking really well. He's building up the play, and I think if you want to play FC at his finest, you got to build up, but when you are in the last third, you got to attack. You got to find those 1v1 situations, and he's doing it, especially with the Gullit, with the player locks. He's playing really well at the moment.
Henry back to Gullit. There's the player lock. There's Haaland at the back post. Just offside.
Almost. It was almost the curse.
The build-up there, though, Gravison, was superb. The player locks. He knew exactly what he was doing before the ball was even played.
He's playing really good. Unfortunately, it's just one goal, but the player switching to try to cover this
think exactly, yeah, he's been doing it right.
He's going to get another go at it. Is there a flick down? There it is, back to Hullet, there it is. Just couldn't really find the clean connection to the finish, and that will do us for half-time. Wolves 2, Burnley 1.
Are great, but...
I think maybe you'd say the quarterfinals because you're closer to the...
Yeah, probably.
Spots and the tickets, aren't you?
Yeah, and especially Manchester City with Tex and Bonanno.
Yeah, that'll be...
It's good, like, whoever plays against them is going to be a brilliant match.
Which for them, they've just had to sit back and watch today. Twiddling their thumbs, waiting to get going tomorrow, where they come straight into a quarter-final.
Nice cross.
You're going to go for a direct finish? Yes, he is! Kai Harris!
He hurt us.
The Wolves take a 2-0 lead in this game. It's a 3-1 aggregate scoreline. We spoke about those lofted balls into the box. It's that time green finish there, just to make sure. We enjoyed that one.
He's playing the perfect match. I mean, the player switching in the first build-up from Salman has been perfect from Kai Harris, but then, again, the variety of attacks. We've seen player locks, we've seen crosses, we've seen...
Driven shots.
Everything. I think he's playing the perfect FC24 match.
The perfect mix of aggression and patience.
And it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're playing a match in which you're just leading by 1 goal. He's playing really well. And Salman is, I think he's frustrated because of the offside traps and because of the player switching, which has been flawless at the moment. And again, for Salman, is
in our other game, just to the side of us here, Arsenal have just scored their first breakthrough goal in the second leg. It's RSD that leads now by a goal to nil. 3-2 on aggregate. Remember, the winner of that game, by the looks of it, will be playing against Wolves in the next stage of the knockouts here. But just back to your point, Gravison, it goes to show, forget the group stages.
it doesn't matter, really.
It goes to show you can have a great group stage, but then you're playing, what, 6, 7, 8 weeks later in a very different environment, in a very different format, where it's straight knockout. And if you're not your best, you're out of the tournament, and for some players, it's the end of the road.
For example, we have the example of Manchester United. They were at the bottom of the group. They played the first match. It was...
Destroyed.
Yeah, 5-1. I mean, Dragon played a really, really near to perfection match. So...
One more goal to seal the deal. It's all perfect, though, isn't it? Even there with Henry, it's a time green finish. So those that aren't aware, you could basically time your shots on FC24. If you time it green, it gives you a better chance of that finish. Not just being on target, but ensuring that the goalkeeper can get no way near it. This has to stick! Woo. And there is still a lot of time left. 60 minutes on the clock. Salman Ahmad back in the tie for Burnley, and you just feel like one goal. You know this more than anyone, Gravison. A goal like that, it just gives you all the confidence, doesn't it?
Especially when you've not been attacking well, but then you find the spaces. You pass it every single time to your strikers, because he didn't pass a single pass backwards, and he finds a really good chance to Heung-min Son. He did attack really well, and now he needs to keep going because the momentum is in his side at the moment.
How do Wolves react? Great player. Switch and a lock there onto Hullet.
Nice defense. The player switch was really quick. Oh, big mistake.
Giving away their ongoing runners. Haaland, Hullet all queuing up. Henry there as well. Again, possession given away, and we go back down the other end for Burnley. As you see, wherever's been changed from Burnley, Wolves on.
Lost the possession of the ball, and now you He's playing well at the moment, and he hasn't been playing well for 60 minutes. But that's where the passes come in.
The period in the game, he's on top, isn't he? And he has to just keep pressing, keep creating chances, which I'm sure he certainly will do. We're jumping back in now, last 20 in-game minutes. Who will be going through to the next stage of the competition as we say goodbye to 2 more Premier League clubs. Some of the clubs already eliminated today. Chelsea falling out the tournament earlier on today. Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, Everton, Newcastle, all eliminated here at the ePremier League in day 1 of the competition.
Really good. Oh, unlucky. Oh, unlucky again. Gets a reflection, but yeah, the second man press from Kay was really good in there.
And we got a full-time result. Sorry to interrupt, Gravison. It's Arsenal 3-2 winners over Sheffield United. Sheffield United eliminated from the competition. Arsenal do go through. But that one certainly wasn't easy either. 3-2 win. Only 1 goal scored in that second game. RSD just doing enough to get the Gunners over the line. Can make something happen here.
This game's got a grab on the ropes as well.
Yep. Oh, big mistake.
Possession given away again, and you think that was their chance. Doesn't really need to score again, does he? Added time to come in. How generous will the officials be?
1 minute.
It's only 1 minute. Yeah, it looks like Burnley will be eliminated from the competition. It will be Wolves against Arsenal in the next round of the knockout phase here. A very composed Kai Harrison. What was a difficult game to come into. It was even Stevens, as we said, coming into the matchup. Salman Ahmed got going in about the 60th minute, and it was a tough last 30 minutes just to see out the result there. He's done enough, and Wolves go through. Burnley, unfortunately, out of the ePremier League.
Yeah, we're going to see now Wolves against Arsenal match, which is going to be interesting because we just saw the game management from the Wolves to be really good, but then Ricky as well, RSD, is a really good player as well. He manages to just move the keeper really well, to find to be confident enough to be cool and calm as well. And yeah, I don't know what to expect from this match. I think any one of them could win.
Absolutely. I mean, look, Arsenal versus Wolves will be a game that will probably be our last one, actually, to come off air today here in day 1. RSD off camera looked across to us, gave us a thumbs up. I'm sure it was a very nervy game. He only won by a goal to nil. But as we said, 8 teams are eliminated from the Premier League. Only 12 remain. As we said, 4 are through to tomorrow already. We've got 8 teams left. We're going into 4 more games very soon.
Very, very exciting. I'm excited for the next round. It should be really good.
Yeah, can I ask production to just have a cam to the face of Ricky first the whole time? I mean, he's entertaining. He's entertaining. He's an entertaining player.
Not a zoom.
Not me.
Not a zoom in.
not my teeth. It's okay.
Anyway, enough from us. We're over to, go back to Frankie now, sorry. Before we jump into our final 4 games here at the Premier League.
I hate to break it to you, Leah Ravel. They didn't zoom in on your teeth. They zoomed in on your chin. But Amelia, the makeup artist, did a fabulous job. Now, coming up after the break, 4 more spots up for grabs in the quarterfinals. And unfortunately, the other 4 teams will be going home before Sunday's action. And coming up after the break, it's going to be Manchester United versus Aston Villa. Welcome back to the ePremier League Finals 2024. I'm Frankie Ward and I am joined by Leah Ravel and FG to talk about our first round of 16. We had so many epic goals, but also I have to say, I think we had some nerves as well. I was kind of hoping for some bloodbaths, but we didn't really see them, Leah.
No, not really. I would say Manchester United was a good way to start the day, especially given their performance in January. They were bottom of the group in January and I think ended, what was it, 7-1, 7-2 on aggregate, which was a crazy performance for them.
Dragon really proved a point, but let's take a look at the rest of our results from that first round. Any surprises there for you, FG?
I mean, when we're looking at surprises, I mean, I think the Manchester United fixture was a surprise just based on how they started, how Dragon started. He came out really all guns blazing. But I mean, business as usual for Tottenham and for Crystal Palace, I think, and Forest and West Ham as well.
You say business as usual for Tottenham, but actually you have to hand it to Painter and especially Banks from Newcastle United, because they didn't play like they were playing into their opponent's hand. They really did play as if they wanted to play without pressure and do what they knew they could do best. And Banks really playing to his strength there with those long balls.
Yeah, he did, definitely. I think he gave Tom a really good game. Tom built up some confidence towards the end of the match and ended up coming out ahead. But yeah, I think both of them should be proud of their performance.
Well, you know what I'm missing in my life right now?
Tell me.
I'm missing some Casey Anderson, but we've tracked her down and we've got a camera on her. Thank goodness for that.
Yes, I'm backstage in the Players' Lounge with Nick Stebb from Crystal Palace and Lyrics from Spurs. And they're about to be not going up against each other directly, but their teammates will be going up against each other. So, Sneb, let me talk about the last game. Shells, he had a rough start to the group stage, but how proud are you of that performance?
Yeah, it was really good. Very promising. He's put a lot of time in and it looked like it paid off so far. He won 2-0. It was a nice, comfortable win and set me up really nicely. So yeah, really well.
Now let's talk about the next matchup that you have. You will be going up against Tom, which he's done fantastic in this competition. So what is your mindset going into that?
I don't really have a mindset. Just go into every other.
Ironically, we played each other quite a lot, so yeah, it'll probably be a tight game, and we'll see who wins.
All right, well, Lyrics, Nick Sneb, this matchup is about to be intense. Spurs versus Crystal Palace. I will let you guys get prepared. Back to you guys.
We're not prepared for that matchup. That is going to be a heartbreaker. No wonder who ends up going home. And whoever goes through is going to be facing Manchester City. So much to look forward to on tonight's show. And especially, I have to say, this next matchup. Manchester United came out swinging at the start of today, and now they've got to swing again against Aston Villa.
Well then, we're into the next stage of the competition here at the ePremier League. You win now, you go into Championship Sunday, top 8 guaranteed, more prize money, Ryan, and you are in touching distance, not only from this trophy here at the ePremier League, but from eChampions League tickets, an FC Pro World Championship spot. The pressure's building.
Absolutely. I think for all the players, they would have just wanted to make it into Championship Sunday just so that they're in the conversation to get all of those listed accomplishments, as you said. So yeah, the stakes are getting higher and higher as the day progresses.
Well, look, let's have a little look at this journey so far of this competition. It is Manchester United against Aston Villa up next. And what's more exciting is we're kicking off on the other console first and foremost. We're on the PlayStation.
It's a massive difference because, of course, Dragon started off blistering, probably the best performance we've seen so far today. 5-1 win in his first game against Jack Sharp, but he started the tie. Now he's going to be responding off of this start from David Murray on the attack.
There's been a call. Switch of play, finds Cole Palmer. Rodri does what he can, he'll kick it out of play. Cole Palmer again, happy to pick up possession. Can he work it into the box now? Henry, one more pass, it's in the air. But Ben Chilwell, who able to defend it well.
Great play there. Just to build up from Cameron Ruck. A corner, which we saw him score from in the last moments. Headed clear there from David Murray. And break forward to try and start an attack of his own.
Haaland. Finds Schweinsteiger. It is relentless at the moment from Cameron Rock. There's a time green finesse from Thierry Henry. Again, it's blocked well. Both these two had massive individual performances in their earlier matches. See, David Murray had the luxury of coming into a 5-1 scoreline when they beat Chelsea in our first opening game of today. That's a massive win back. Hullit's going to win that. In the leg race, it's a great save from Van der Sar. Quickly brought in again, defended well by Virgil van Dijk. Remember that the winner of this one will play Liverpool in tomorrow's quarter-final stages. Obviously, there's 4 teams here at the ePremier League that did enough in the group stages in January that they're able to basically skip on through a few rounds through to tomorrow's tournament, which I'm sure they'll be sitting there now watching in the back room thinking, oh, actually wouldn't mind playing now.
Yeah, exactly. They're able to just to oversee potential opponents they could be playing tomorrow.
For Stingray and Darosh, they'll be taking on the winner from this game here. Been a relentless start so far. Is that Cole Palmer as a left-back?
Yeah, I think it is. Could have been a mistake there as well. It was a poor attempted control there, but Cole Palmer, he has the height, of course. He's got the pace with his item in-game. A huge upgrade as well. Finesse shot plus play style, which you've seen be effective on the edge of the box so far in this tournament.
Haaland on the overlap, finds Ben Chilwell. It's a case of working into the box now or finding it on the feet. Time green, first time of asking from Heung-min Son, second time Hullet was there. And eventually a chance to breathe. You might notice someone, I should say, in the background for Aston Villa. Spencer Reilly, better known as Gorilla, former world champion. Was a runner-up in last year's competition with Spurs. Now in a coaching role for this Aston Villa side. Hoping that he can do enough for Jay Brown and Cameron Rock. Schweinsteiger happy to pick up possession once or twice. David Murray doing a great job of just making this Manchester United defensive and midfield line so compact as a misclick of a button there gives possession back to Manchester United, and they will come hunting forward. Finesse maybe on the edge of the box. Cole Palmer fancies it. Did everything right, but when you've got the height of Van der Sar there, Ryan, you just need the perfect angle.
Yeah, didn't get the elevation it needed as well. You saw the sigh of relief from David Murray. I think he knows. He didn't move his goalkeeper there. So if it was perfectly placed, I think it would have found the back of the net there. But David Murray can push forward to try and get an attack here.
Smart, Cole Palmer. On his right-hand side of the pitch. Happy to go all the way back round again. Just onside is Hullet. He's asking for a lot there, the timing of the pass. Through to Heung-min Son. Could be a potential option down the line here. Thierry Henry. He's certainly got the pace. Haaland punches it into Heung-min Son. Tiptoes round 1 or 2. Surely got to be a chance. It will be. It's Aston Villa that will find the breakthrough again. Looking to make it 3 years in a row. Well, they've been quarter-finalists in the ePremier League. It was just a second or two there where he was just able just to sort of take his time with the finish.
Yeah, it's a great goal. The build-up play from Cameron Rock there was methodical. He took his time. He waited for the space to open up. Shot cancelled as well. Just waited for the goalkeeper to move. Of course, Cameron Rock made the right choice there to give Aston Villa, the 1-goal lead, potentially going into half-time. There could be a last attack there for David Murray and United to try and get back into the game.
As I was saying, Aston Villa have been super impressive in the last handful of ePremier Leagues.
That's a... Honestly, that is a goal-saving interception. They would have been one-on-one.
Have a little scoop turn inside. Corner, last kick of the game for the first 45 minutes. Added time has been used. What can we see from this area here? Thierry Henry just dinks it in towards that back post, and Virgil van Dijk with probably the strongest header I think I've ever seen.
It was Green timed it. Was his expertise, not just in the mechanics of the game, but just his experience overall. He's been competing at this level of competition for a large number of years. It could be approaching a decade almost.
You can't forget as well that he also won 200,000 and a World Championship back in 2017. And was just a runner-up last year. One match away from putting himself in the Premier League archives as a champion.
Get Haaland here, near post. Is he going to go back post?
Got numbers around him. It's Virgil van Dijk that just about does enough. Manchester United to find a way back into this tie. I mean, look at Manchester United's history in this ePremier League tournament. You have to look back to 2019, really, the first big year where Carl Lees came onto the scene. There were runners-up in the tournament. As you know, Tex was the champion on that year. Ever since then, it's been a real mixed bag of results for the red side of Manchester. Schweinsteiger, De Bruyne, Henry, 2 for Villa. Just about squeezes it through the near post. Carved out. The perfect chance, right? And just like that, Aston Villa will double their lead.
Yep, incredibly well worked again there from Cameron Rock. Picking the right passes, chose the right shot type as well there outside of the boot with Henry in at the near post. And he's given David Murray and Manchester United an uphill battle to try and get back into this game. You don't want this game to go away from you. You have to remember the second leg is still to be played after this, where your teammate will be responsible potentially for Man United to try and get back into this game. And having Dragon alongside you is somebody you could definitely trust to bag a few goals.
Henry could be in for 3. Haaland, what a save. Van der Sar will get there in the second time of asking.
Incredible save.
That really would have been a difficult position for Manchester United again, that just about keeps out Haaland as Van der Sar. For a third time of asking, yeah. Right place, right time. How many more Erling Haaland headers is he going to have to face? Here's another one coming for you. Poor pass, isn't it? This is where Cameron Rock and Aston Villa can really punish Manchester United now. Thierry Henry, great save, Van der Sar.
It's an onslaught of attacks from Cameron Rock. We're going to see a familiar corner again. Erling Haaland selected.
There he is, in the air, and eventually. There's only so many times you can keep this monster out. Erling Haaland makes it 3-0. To Aston Villa.
It just felt destined. The amount of corners in quick succession there for Aston Villa. It felt as if surely one of them would find the back of the net. And that's exactly what happened now. 3-0 down. David Murray finds himself. Despite the scoreline, Brandon, I still just... Dragon is somebody you can never count out. Even a 3-goal deficit, you never know when it comes to Dragon and scoring goals. But a 4-goal lead for Villa could be dangerous, and they're pushing forward again. It's going to be another corner. I'm not sure if that took another deflection, but a pause cued there.
years. But on the other side for Jay Brown, you're like, I've got a 3-goal cushion now. I cannot throw this away.
Yeah. Could be 4.
Haaland again. Eventually deals with it. I mean, if you could have your own way, Ryan, you'd be like, I just don't want to give away a corner.
Yeah,
but
literally.
It's not that easy. Manchester United desperate for a bit of hope in the form of a goal from somewhere.
Just well defended again there from Cameron Rocky. Just makes it compact with the offside traps, the player switching them, the second man press as well. Just not giving a lot of space for David Murray to try and break through the defensive line.
Possession given away. Manchester United will happily take that. A goal or some sort of comeback story. Are we in for our first one here? Just about poked away from danger there by Kevin De Bruyne. Omri. Schweinsteiger might fancy one from far out. 4-goal cushion for Villa would be unbelievable. Cole Palmer gaining some extra yards for Manchester United. Punched in again to Heung-min Son. A couple of times he's done that. He's looking for those little 1-2s, hasn't he, Ryan?
Yeah.
But it's just been a clutch piece of defending.
It's a key interception there. And it's very good, the player lock cancellations there from Cameron Rock. Just making sure that he keeps David Murray thinking when defending. He's just giving away, potentially giving away, he's definitely giving away possession.
There's always just like that extra step forward into a semi-final or a grand final. Is this the year that it changes for them? And that will do us in the first leg. 3-0. Aston Villa lead, but this is still not done as of yet. Still a second leg to come. It's all on Dragon.
Yeah, as I've mentioned already in this game, I feel as if in another situation, I would say it's game over. A 3-goal deficit, but just because it's Dragon, I've seen him come from way bigger deficits and restore leads again. And he's somebody, as we saw, who's scoring the first set of games for himself, 5 goals in quick succession. So he's definitely capable of coming back in this game.
As we said, he certainly has got the experience to do it. Has Dragon, one of the few people that's actually not teched out this competition a handful of years ago in the knockout stages in a Manchester United shirt. He did represent Liverpool. Some wise words going on board from Spencer Ealing behind him there. As we have another special guest join us here in the commentary area. Casey, I mean, look, it's a mountain to climb 3-0, but as Ryan's saying, if there's one player to do it, maybe Dragon is that man.
Yeah, the guy has tried to retire so many times, but I think he is meant to be here in this situation right now. And if anyone can do it, like you said, it could be Dragon. He scores so many goals, and so it is a tough battle to climb, a tough mountain, but we'll see how it goes.
Look, he has teased that this could be the last event for him, the last hurrah. What a way it would be for him to end with a top 8, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody that he's got a lot of accolades and accomplishments throughout the years, but I think this would rank up there if he's able to progress far in this tournament.
Let's jump into it now live for you. We're over to the Xbox now. PlayStation is confirmed. It's the 3-0 scoreline for Aston Villa. Let's see how this one plays out here. Will there be a comeback story? Will there be some drama? Winner of this will play Liverpool in the quarter-finals tomorrow of this year's ePremier League. I mean, to the football fan, Manchester United, Liverpool in the quarter-final.
Huge matchup.
Aston Villa looking to rip up that script and put themselves there as they've showed that form in real football this year as well. Hullet trying to find goal number 4 for Jay Brown. That will be on his mind. Let's just get an early goal. Let's just give myself a 4-goal lead. Referee plays the advantage. Player lock teased a few times. Sierra Real still in possession for Aston Villa. Waiting for that card back. Goes towards the back post. It's really clever, and eventually Alisson will get 2 hands on it.
It's composed to head it back to the goalkeeper there. That's what he intended to do from Dragon.
Mohamed Salah is a centre mid.
That's one thing you're going to notice, right, with Dragon. Unorthodox formations, doesn't really stick to the meta, and unorthodox player selection as well.
He loves
Carlos Tevez. Carlos Tevez up top, Mo Salah in the team as well. Udogie in fullback. He's not afraid to select players that other players wouldn't select as well.
That's a great read there. Finds Carlos Tevez, who very nearly gives Man United their first goal in the game.
I think that's why players struggle so much against Dragon, because at every aspect, you can't anticipate what he's going to do. That's why players like Stingray talk so highly of him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't play like a regular player.
Some of the risks he's taken, though, as well. As you said, players out of position, technically playing with one real ball-playing centre midfielder, Mohamed Salah. But he wants to pack his team full of forwards. You've got Henry, Tevez, Hullet, Haaland, Salah, and then you've got Kevin De Bruyne just doing doggies along the pitch, back and forth. He wants to give himself, which you can fully understand, the best chance of any sort of comeback.
But it worries me a bit in terms of defensively, when you have so many attackers.
Exactly.
Who is there to save you when it comes to any type of counter-attack?
Speaking of counter-attack, here he is. Dragon on the attack here. Erling Haaland building up.
Carlos Tevez was after the ball. I guess the one thing that he's got in his favour, Hullet, although he's a centre forward, will offer you the stats of pretty much an all-rounder. You can just see him dropping in alongside Kevin De Bruyne. These heavy touches, Jay Brown does very well again. Just to get himself out of that one big switch of play. He's already survived 20 minutes without conceding a goal. Player lock and a player run. Cole Palmer to Hullet. Out it goes for a corner. You can understand where this one's going. Erling Haaland at the front post. Will try and flick it on off the line just about. I mean, that goes in. Manchester United would have been 4-0 down. Chance to break on the counter-attack. I mean, I don't know what that was. A flick, an acrobatic effort.
It's a similar corner that we see it placed in the box there. I think it's something that the Villa players would have been working on together.
Udogie trying to get down that byline. Salah back to Thierry Henry. There's a body in the way. Second time of asking. There's goal number 1 for Dragon. He just nods and locks into the zone. And this is where, Ryan, you can say and explain better than most. In your head, you're starting to think, nah, I can't.
The thing is, it's a 2-goal deficit. But Dragon believes, I can assure you, he believes if it's 3 or 4, he believes, let alone 2. And I think the fear could start to creep in for Jay Brown. You start to second-guess little things. Should you go forward? Should you stick or twist? Am I making a mistake by playing the same way I would if it's 0-0? You don't know what to do, and that's the scary part.
Momentum is a very scary thing in this game, and it easily can switch away from you, even if you have 3 goals on your side. It could switch just like that with 1 goal.
Even there, just hesitate and turn it back on yourself, and then just a bad touch and you take it out of play. And now Dragon gets possession again. And if he was to get, let's say, another goal without conceding by half-time, it is going to be a very, very tough second half for Jay Brown.
Just constantly triggering all these runs forward. better for Jay Brown. Get himself a goal, get himself back in the game confidence-wise. There's an offside trap played there. Salah just about stays on side. But can't find the ball through to Erling Haaland he was looking for. The press relentless. Carlos Tevez trying to put all the pressure on the player switch. It is crazy from Manchester United. Trying to manoeuvre bodies all around the pitch to stop this Aston Villa pressure. It's another big win there from Rodri. Seems like every player is fighting for the badge.
Yeah, I think with Dragon, the way he defends and attacks, he attacks very direct, but when he defends, he doesn't fall for the baits, like the player lock or anything. He just carries on going for the person in possession.
This could be a chance. Punch into Haaland. There could be a one more. Carlos Tevez looks it on the shoulder. Back to Haaland. It's 2 goals in 40 minutes. And from a 3-goal deficit, it's only 1 now.
It's fortunate, Casey. It's very fortunate that I thought he lost possession in the box. I thought he attacked so well. I thought the extra pass from Tevez, once he tricked him into thinking he could have just played an extra pass there. But it fell his way, and he's right back into it, Casey.
He is right back into it, and like we said, if anyone could do it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, it could be 3-3.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the fact that Dragon has been able to shift this game here, if I'm in Jay Brown's shoes, I'm worrying, because you're at the point where you're like, all right, do I continue to push forward to give us a little bit more of a cushion, or do I just start going full out defense and try to not let him get one more by? I'm not sure what I would do at this point. Ryan, you probably have a better idea.
I've played Dragon countless times. We go way back from, a very long time ago we've been playing each other, but he's somebody, genuinely, if David Murray had won that game 4-0, he's playing the same way. He's going up for the attack. He wants to win his game by a substantial margin as well, and he's gone into the break 2-0 up now against Jay Brown, and it's nervous settings for the Aston Villa players as well.
It's such a full cycle moment as well, because if you remember rightly, when the man that's coached Aston Villa was a world champion, the man that coached him was Sean Allen Dragon.
Yes, it was.
Now in 2024, 7 years on from that, he's now coaching on the opposite side off the stage in a knockout game in the ePremier League.
It's unbelievable.
But you are right. It's the mental side of the game for Dragon. He doesn't care, does he? He believes. We jump in now. Manchester United were 3-0 down in this game. They are only 1 goal behind now. Much more of this pressure and the correct decisions can Dragon bring before Aston Villa can pickpocket the high press and maybe find a way through. Hullet looking for the cutback, finds Haaland. Carlos Tevez!
Sensational ball.
Who else would it be than the former Manchester United man? 3-3. Game on.
The ball here, they're like a cancel. That pass is unbelievable, and he's meant that because he shot straight away. That's a great pass there from Dragon. Thread of the needle stuff, and honestly, I don't know what it is about. You're never safe. You have to be up by genuinely 4 or 5. I said a 3-goal lead is not safe against Dragon.
Carlos Tevez.
Carlos Tevez.
The only man using him.
I mean, whatever works for him.
Goodness. It's another big win. Schweinsteiger recovers well, but everything is just going Manchester United's way in this game. The confidence must be oozing in the final third. Makes it 4-3.
Wow.
It really is the comeback of dreams here in the Premier League.
You know, he gave a bigger celebration there, David Murray. If you looked at him there, this is it. It came from a chance. A space opened up. The finesse shot at the near post.
He'll be taking him out for dinner tonight.
Literally, I can't.
Have a starter. Have a dessert. Have what you want.
To go from such an unfortunate group stage that Manchester United had to the stuff we're seeing right now from Dragon. It's almost as if he took these few couple months and perfected everything that he knows best, and he's coming into this the most confident that I've seen of him this year.
It's just the belief, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, it's just, I feel like he's let himself down in tournaments based on his mentality. It's never been about the skills. Fundamentally, Dragon has everything. It's just about sometimes the little mechanics in the game, he sort of not refuses to adapt to the meta. You can see he doesn't cross the ball. He plays his own way, he plays narrow, he aims to blitz and score a lot of goals in quick succession, and he's come into the ePremier League finals and he's been unbelievable.
Just the fact that, as you said, we're talking like 7 years ago he was at his peak in his career, and 7 years on, there's still hunger there.
Still going.
What a turnaround this one is. If this was to be his last season, then by God, he wants to make it one.
He just needs to try and remain as composed as possible, but he has to shut down Dragon, who's just attacking Casey with just, honestly, the directness from Dragon has been incredible.
I'll be honest, this is going to sound weird, but I do feel like going into that second leg, being up is actually a very difficult situation to be in.
I hated it. I would love to go first. I would hate to play second just because you don't know what to do. Even if you've won by 3, do you keep on... Do you try and sit back and defend the lead? But then if you concede 1, that game plan's out the window because a 2-goal lead, you can never really rest on it. It's tough.
There's a question mark there, isn't there?
Yeah,
you're coming into a game with a clean slate, you're just thinking win. Shot from distance from De Bruyne. Comes off the body of Virgil van Dijk. Remember, winner of this will play Liverpool. As it stands, Man United and Liverpool as the first quarter-final. How about that one? For setting up a day of ePremier League grand final action. It's a great pass. Tevez, is he onside? Yes, he is. Haaland will turn away. Hullits!
Wow.
Makes it 5. 5-0 Manchester United leads. He is not per foot wrong.
The driven pass there again. Fantastic pass. The extra pass I thought we could have gone with Haaland. And he plays the little layoff, and this is...
David Murray must be feeling all right.
Oh, absolutely. It's
He's just laughing over there. Massive smile on his face.
I feel so bad for Jay Brown because it's a 3-goal lead he's given away, but it's so difficult because you don't know what to do. You don't. I guess in this position you do because you have to go for it, but coming into it, it's just tough.
Also unfortunate for Cameron Rock.
Yeah.
He did supply him with a good start, but now he just has to sit back and have no control over what will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think for this one, you sort of have to... You take the losses with the wins, you're a team. I know it's separate games technically, but you rely on your teammate to give you, hopefully, in a leading position. But Dragon again.
Not done yet, is he? No game sound, no music. Just listening to everything in this room. Still, do not count Aston Villa out of this one. 1 goal for them would just give a huge awakening to Jay Brown. It's just not falling their way, though, at all. Man United, I mean, the setup from Dragon here has been superb. That Mohamed Salah play, pretty much just overloading into a 5 attacking scenario, giving Kevin De Bruyne just a free roll to do whatever he wants in the middle of the pitch. Omri. Is it goal number 6 for Dragon? Towards the back post, it is! 6-0!
I don't believe this.
And at that point, he thinks he knows that it's enough to send Manchester United through to a quarter-final day with Liverpool tomorrow.
Look at the back post. He just ran from deep there. Ruud Gullit. The pace, the playstyle plus of Rapid with Henry. Direct to the byline, played across goal, Casey, and to me, that's game done.
Yeah, I think that is the end of this match here, unfortunately for Aston Villa. But for Dragon, that is 2 matches that he's had today. He's the leading goal scorer out of this
11
entire
goals.
day.
11 goals so far in 2 games.
Insane in knockouts as well.
Oh my goodness. Dragon's been superb.
We always said, could he pull this back? And I mean, you thought he could.
No, you cannot sleep against Dragon. I've played him way too many times. You can see the look there on Cameron Rock's face. He's devastated. He feels as if, obviously, he has done his job. A 3-goal lead is great. He's done incredibly well. It's just, it's unfortunate for Jay Brown that, as ruthless as it may seem, the fault will completely lie on his shoulders.
Haaland to try and find one more back in. It's not going to fall their way. It will go for an own goal in the end. But 4 minutes for 2 in-goal. Sorry, 4 in-game minutes for 2 goals. It just is not going to be enough time. For Manchester United, what a turnaround from David Murray being 3-0 down at the end of leg 1. Aston Villa, they look like they were in dreamland. Now they're in a nightmare. And it will be Manchester United going through to play Liverpool tomorrow. 1 more goal to seal the deal. Added time to come. But what a performance it has been from Dragon and David Murray. And look, it's going to be a rematch from the groups again, isn't it? They're going to match up Liverpool, Manchester United. We're in the groups together. They will play tomorrow in a quarter-final. Sean Allen, AK Dragon, has done what he needed to do. From 3-0 down, he picked up a deflated Manchester United side and said, look, we're in this. And they've got 1 step further. They are in to a quarter-final tomorrow. Massive result. And what a way to kick off this next round of knockouts.
What a way it is. I just had to look over there at Dragon. He looked over, and the look on his face was, yeah, I just did that. No, but this next matchup, Ryan, against Liverpool?
Huge game tomorrow. Dragon was incredible. Incredible performance. He's done well to turn over a 3-goal deficit. And not just against any old player. He played against a top player called Jay Brown. He's been insane
That's
as well.
the difference, though, from playing on these stages and bigger stages than this throughout the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years for him. He's just got the extra reps there. He's got the extra experience. And massive congratulations to Manchester United. They are through, and I believe FG is catching up with Dragon now. How is he feeling?
Well, I imagine
Congratulations to David Murray and Dragon. We'll see them playing versus Liverpool tomorrow. But right now, we have got to get ready for Nottingham Forest versus West Ham, who will be booking a date with Luton Town in the quarter-finals. welcome back to the ePremier League finals. And if you missed the action before the break, you missed teamwork making the dream work. Cameron Rock with a fantastic performance in the first leg for Aston Villa versus Manchester United. But you just could not deny the Dragon in that second half. This man wanted a date with Liverpool in the quarterfinals, and by word, he has got it. Leah Ravel and Casey, I haven't really got my breath back after that performance. Watching Dragon do that interview with FD before the break had me feeling emotional, because Dragon's been around since 2016. He's retired, he's unretired, he's retired, he's unretired, and he's here to prove he can do it. And I think he can, Leah.
I think so too. We were actually talking briefly before he started playing, and he's like, oh, I don't know. He's reluctant to say whether he was confident or not. But I mean, the scoreline shows more than what he said, so.
Yeah. Casey, it was an absolute barn burner. Let's take a look at how that's impacted the bracket, because we can see that they will be facing off in our first quarter final tomorrow. I can't wait for Darius versus David Murray, but especially Stingray versus Dragon. That's veterans at war.
Yes, because we've seen it before, and we know how highly Stingray speaks of Dragon. He knows he has the potential to win a game like that. And honestly, Dragon is a better competitor than he was in the group stage. And so tomorrow is about to be an all-out battle for Liverpool versus Manchester United.
And our next matchup is incredibly exciting too. Nottingham Forest versus West Ham United. West Ham United, I'm excited because we get to see Brig Army return. He has made such a debut so far in this competition, and he's got a good shot. However, goal poacher on the side of Nottingham Forest, Leah, he has won this competition before.
Yeah, so he has the experience, whereas Brig Army doesn't. Brig Army seems to have the confidence, though, which might take him all the way. Both goal poacher and Red Leg have been performing to a higher level this weekend than in January, so it could go either way.
It could go either way, which is why you need to keep your eyes on the screen as we get ready to go into this second knockout match of round number 2.
Thank you very much. Big game feel here at Elstree Studios, live in London for the ePremier League second knockout round. We've got one quarter-final in the books. It's Liverpool versus Man United, but our attention turns to Nottingham Forest against the Hammers West Ham. One game at a time. Big match feel. I just got the opportunity to catch all 4 players backstage, and there was nerves, but there was excitement. Gravison, as we're going to get into this game. Forest from left to right in the red and white strip, and all in white from right to left will be West Ham United.
Yeah, I think we could confidently say that Nottingham Forest are the favourites coming up to this match. But you never know, actually, you never know. We have, at the moment, goal poacher playing against JRK. And I do think goal poacher really needs to win this game, in a sense, because I do feel the Red Leg against Brig Army match is going to be
a bit more 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50, 100%. And JRK didn't play well at all in the group stage. Of course, he can play well now because it's the knockouts, and he did really play really well against Brentford. But still, I do think I think the favorite in this match is goal poacher, and I think he has to win by a couple of goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what GRK, Get Rid Kid, the person on the right-hand side of your screen for West Ham, is offering in this matchup is he's just a little bit more relaxed than he was the first time around. I got the opportunity to stand behind him when he was playing his earlier matchup for West Ham. They were taking on Brentford. They won 8-6 in the end, and there was just a level of calmness, a little bit more calmness, because I know he spoke quite openly after the groups on his live stream and on social media, saying he was scared, he was nervous. And he just seems a little bit more composed, he seems a little bit more comfortable in the surroundings that he's at. And if he starts playing his best FC, West Ham would be a serious outfit here at the ePremier League. First chance goes West Ham's way, and it crashes off the crossbar.
Yeah, and I do think goal poacher has a lot of positive things about his gameplay, but I think he pulls the defenders out of position a bit too much. especially the centre backs. We just seen this attack with Van Dijk being pretty much defending the wing, which is I think you need order to defend well in FC24.
Great press.
Yeah.
From GRK here, getting high up the pitch. You saw Schweinsteiger on the toes of goal poacher's defender.
That's a nice speed boost.
What goal poacher's got maybe a little bit more than GRK is LAN experience.
Yeah.
At the huge events as well. He's won the ePremier League in the past. When you think back to that side that he won it with Dammy a couple of years ago, and then also I remember him at the E-Champions League opening match. Who did he play? Nicholas, arguably the best player to ever grace our beautiful game of FC. He played him in the first match of the tournament. So just having those experiences, being able to recall back to previous events, it does certainly help you. It's been an end-to-end game though, this opening 23 minutes. Dink to the edge of the box.
He's crossing too much. I do think that player luck was needed in that occasion because, I mean, it's a 2v2 situation and the centre-back cannot go and cover Hullet. So if you just player luck into Haaland and then choose to go near post or back post, it could have been a goal. I do think goal poacher needs to player luck a little bit more in those situations.
Saka out wide, playing into Schweinsteiger. Hullet, extra pass, Haaland, good interception from Kai Havertz. Playing well though at the minute, GRK, getting into a couple of good areas, just can't quite find that final shot or the extra pass needed.
Yeah, the build-up.
Break the deadlock.
The build-up has been amazing, same as this one.
This game's played at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The pace of this match is incredible right now. Both players getting the ball, going forward. They're being aggressive. They're attacking with serious intent.
And that's going to happen in the first leg and the second leg as well, because we know the style of these players. I mean, they're young and they don't like to play just safely into, I don't know, switching sides. We're going to see a lot of driven passes, a lot of crosses like this.
Back post, Havertz just got in front of him. The cross wasn't quite good enough to pick out Erling Haaland, and that's an early pause cued by goal poacher here of Nottingham Forest, but Haaland will bring away from Laurent Blanc and makes Alisson work for a corner kick. 30 minutes on the clock. It's been a real good start from both of these two players.
Yeah.
Chances at either end. GRK crashing against the crossbar. Goal poacher starting to get into this game a little bit more.
GRK did play a really good match against Brentford with a 4-4 result, where he didn't need to win, so he just kept the ball for pretty much the whole.
4 goals.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot, and I do think maybe his decision making in the last third hasn't been the best, but the build-up, brilliant, almost perfection.
I don't know if you can get the reactions of Brigami during this game as well, because he's not really good at hiding his emotions. So every single time there's an attack or one of the two players goes near, you can see it on his face. This is whipped in straight over the keeper. It's direct. It's headed under the crossbar from Kevin De Bruyne. What's he looking for there?
I don't think a direct corner is possible at the moment with the speed of the goalkeepers. This is a good pass. Oof. Knockdown.
Ooh, Laurent Blanc just about does enough. Saka picking it up. Ruud Hullet, left-footed strike, finesse shot. Vieira clears it. Was he looking for the back post?
No, he was looking to trying to score it direct, but that worked when the keepers weren't as quick as they are right now. Because if you do that in November, in October, it made sense because we didn't have Team of the Year, we didn't have those icons with 92, 93 rated. So I do think the direct corners were a thing in the past, but I don't think they are anymore.
Switch of play. Just offering too much to Ogbene. You can see those play styles just in the bottom left and bottom right corner. What they do, if you are unfamiliar at home, it just gives the players that little bit better stat boost in certain areas. So, for example, you can see the slide tackle with Varane. He would have better success rate when going to ground for the ball. Henry in the box. Finesse, top corner. It's been a good start. It really has from GRK. And he goes 1-0 up for West Ham.
As soon as you talk about those play styles, boom, and finesse shot.
I've read the script.
Yeah, you have. You already have. But I mean, a brilliant goal, and it's just like sometimes when the right back is out of position, you can just run and run and run.
I think what the play styles do as well, it leads you to utilise them in a way that you wouldn't have previously. Because if that Henry item doesn't exist and say that's, I don't know, Ginola, you're not finessing that, really.
No, not a
You're look
chance.
for a different strike, but you know Henry's got it in the back pocket to be able to finesse, to be able to score. Andy Green timed it. It's a real good start.
Yeah, we did
goal poach.
with my coach. So you need to be aggressive inside the box, or you need to be aggressive when, let's just say, a midfielder is attacking you, and there's a potential chance of a finesse or something like that. But when you are, like, let's just say, building up, you have to cover the pace. You cannot put any players out of position. But then, inside the box, just go for it.
Back underway, 3 minutes into this second half. Goal poacher winning the ball high up the pitch. Kevin De Bruyne, left-footed strike. He won it high. He nicked it off the toes of the defender, and he was direct. 3 passes later, a timed finish, timed green from Kevin De Bruyne into the bottom left corner.
Yeah, the finesse was timed green, and now the shot is timed green again. And that shows how important it is to be focused in a way, because if neither one of those shots were...
Does it go in?
No, they won't go in. So you have to be patient to find the chance, but when you have the chance, it has to be green, because if not, I mean, you won't have many chances like that. It's interesting to see Rodri as a midfielder again.
Yeah. He's played everywhere, Rodri. He's played right back, left back, centre mid. Floated towards the back post, Haaland over it, but Vieira very, very casually just shouldering it off to the defender.
He's not feeling the pressure.
Saka has the chance to come forward here.
Good build up. Yeah. Switch up the play now. Big mistake.
That's a risky pass. He's gone to ground as well, trying to atone for his error. Could be punished here. Thierry Henry out wide. Gullit recycling possession. Haaland into Ruud Gullit again. Reverse elastico inside the box. A nice skill move, but West Ham just about make up for their previous passing error.
He did try to do something because the keeper was moved to the back post. So he thought, okay, he's not defending right here. Maybe if I try to reverse elastico, maybe he'll pass it. But no, it wasn't enough.
De Bruyne, switch of play, bringing Rodri into play, just offside. But before he played an hour in this game, 60 minutes already gone. Flown by.
Yeah, they just flew by. And look at that potential German cross. It's coming.
Whipped in.
And now, just patiently has to build up, because...
When you say German cross, for people at home, be unfamiliar with that, what is that?
A German cross is basically when you trigger a run to any of your center backs or full backs, and then you switch up the play and you wait patiently until your defenders, let's just say, go to the final third. So when you're there, you just cross it full bar and hope for the best.
So it's a centre-back who's passed the ball off, made the run forward, and then you cross it into them as they're arriving, just onside, but past the back line.
Pretty much. I think it was a little bit late. The pass was good, but a little bit late.
Ruud Gullit trying to bring more players into the game.
Yeah, goal poacher isn't feeling comfortable. You can see his webcam at the moment. He has done a couple of mistakes, which he shouldn't punish himself.
Oh, he was almost perfect in the groups. He won his game in the knockout as well, so he's being the form player for this Forest side.
Yeah, definitely. Group stage, 3 wins, 1 draw, and then 1 win in the round of 16 again.
Henry to the byline. Saka, Gullit, twisting, turning, reverse elastico, bundling Kevin De Bruyne off it. Got a mixture of De Bruyne and Ogbene just about keep out Ruud Gullit.
This is not an easy thing to do at all. Look for the potential. No, he doesn't do it. So goal poacher is moving the keeper every single time. I think he should the speed boost, which is not easy thing to do at all, but when you find yourself 1v1 and he moves the keeper, speed boost, because he won't be able to defend.
Rodri floated into the back post for Haaland. Gullit wins the header. Henry! Giacche and West Ham take the lead with 10 minutes left to play.
Or you could cross it to Haaland. That works as well. That's a brilliant...
Talk me through it.
Yeah, he crossed it to Haaland. He passed it to Gullit with a knockdown. And the thing is, he tried to go
a perfect example of it.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah. David Murray and Manchester United gave Dragon everything to do, and he did it.
And he did it. To quote Ryan Pessoa, I cannot believe it.
I thought you were in the commentary booth with me.
Okay, last 10 minutes to play. Let's see what happens.
This game far from over. We've still got Brig Army versus Red Lac to come.
Nice
That's
cross.
where the game will be decided. Haaland just offside. Yeah. Just went a little bit too early. As you see, West Ham United right there, the two players on your screen representing the Hammers. On the flip side of it, Nottingham Forest trailing by 2-1. However, Red Lac will be taking control. Just gave his teammate a little pat on the back there, saying, come on, 10 minutes to go. Give me a goal.
I really think the best thing you can do as a teammate there is just like play the game. Like it doesn't matter if
Just
you
lock
win,
in.
if
Just
you
focus.
yeah, just focus. Because like if you lose by 1 goal, I'm confident. If you win by 1 goal, I'm confident. Just do your thing, and I'll do mine.
If you were playing right now, obviously you're back on the scene right now. You're playing in a domestic league yourself. You've been playing for a few months now, training to the highest of caliber. With a teammate, what lead would you feel like is doable? 3 goals down?
Doable.
Yeah.
3 goals. 4 is really hard. 4 is really hard because they can just switch up the play and there's not much you can do. But 3 goals, as Ryan mentioned when it was before the game, the Dragon game, 3
is doable.
3 is doable. 4, it's hard. Nice offside traps at the moment by goal poacher. Offside trapping is really important. It's the first thing about defending.
Just forcing the players forward, making GRK go sideways and backwards instead of anything forwards. Couple of press coming in here. Hull it alongside Henry, but the out ball always on to the fullback, and with only 1 minute left to play, I don't think we're going to have too much more action here.
Let's see. Maybe we have one more chance. Yeah, we have it.
Henry asking questions of the defence. Cut back. Heung-min Son, prove me wrong. No. There you have it. A big result for West Ham United. Goal poacher defeated for the first time.
For the first time.
ePremier League.
Yeah.
Group and knockout journey. It's not over yet though for Nottingham Forest, because Red Lac will be taking the reins and having it all to do. He only trails by 1 goal, and that can be turned around in the click of a finger.
The first kick of the game could happen.
Absolutely. But Brig Army has a lead, has a 1-goal lead going into the second matchup. What are you thinking if you're Red Lac right now, if you're Brig Army? Is it just, I just got to play my game?
I think Red Lac is thinking this is my moment, because you know I didn't win any matches in the group stage. I know he talks about these things. So, what?
Is that for me?
Hello, everyone. Just keeping it warm. It's the closest I'll ever get to it. It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Are we allowed to touch it?
Why not? You can borrow it off me for a little while. It's nice, isn't it? Well, Buckley's gone. Well, there you go.
About what we can expect in this second game.
I do think it's Red Lac's moment. He didn't play well in the group stage, but I mean, last year he didn't drop a single game.
Yep.
He won or draw every single game, and he was let down by his teammate. But this year it could go all the way around. So I do think in his mind he's focused
I can
and he's
see
prepared.
the players are ready, they're locked in. Headphones are in. We're underway. Second game in this knockout matchup. West Ham United leading 2-1 against Nottingham Forest, and FG has found the trophy back onto the plinth.
Yeah, it was a nice few seconds, but this is where the action
It's where it really
continues, and where it really is indeed. It's a very, very tight affair. Still all to play for in this. Red Lac, we're feeling confident, won't we, Graf?
I think so. I think he's one of those players who likes to take
relishes the opportunity,
and he likes to take responsibility. You know, so I do think in a way he wanted to have this chance to redeem himself in the Premier League.
I also think if you're Brigami in this situation, your teammates done everything you can. You've beaten arguably one of the best form players in the tournament, 2-1. You've been given the controller, given the reins to go.
What a pass!
Send West Ham.
It's a great block by De Bruyne.
Into the knockouts, into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think it's an added pressure as well for Brigami in this situation, but it is surely just a case of playing your game and sticking to what you think, because they'll be watching each other, they'll be aware of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they'll try and execute it, won't they, Graf?
I think it's going to be a brilliant FC match, if I'm honest. I think it's going to be brilliant.
When I was backstage, I saw Brigami go up to Nottingham Forest, just maybe 10 minutes before they walked out, and he just said, "It's going to be an honour playing against you." Shook both players' hands and said, "Let the best team win."
And what a tackle that was, by the way, by Vincent Kompany.
Twice in a row. I mean...
Your hero.
My hero, indeed. And there's no surprise that he's paired up with Virgil van Dijk, as we see the long
Such a
ball.
play. Bringing Kai Havertz into it. Haaland just away from his man, pulls onto the edge of the box. First pass to Hullet. Elastico
Brilliant.
forcing the block.
Brilliant attack. The second man press was just right enough for the auto block to happen. But when you get to the last third, that's what I'm talking about. You gotta decide something. So he did the Elastico. It was the right thing to do.
This has been the best game that we've seen so far, in my opinion, in terms of quality on the pitch, in terms of mechanical quality as well, and the tightness of it. Either team could win this game right now, and we've not been able to say that a lot.
Yeah,
this EPL.
There's a lot of things you've not been able to say. Also, that Kevin De Bruyne is defended absolutely brilliant. And
your champion, FG.
This is the visionaries, the vision that these players have to see things that no one would expect. I wouldn't expect to see Kevin De Bruyne, team of the year, defending like he is, but wow.
Thanks for the badge.
Anything can happen here in the ePremier League.
Hullet playing a little bit deeper as well for Brigami. A lot of people have played him as a striker. He's just sat a little bit deeper. Haaland offered the space to run into, but that pass... The one thing that I will say about Haaland, he gives the ball away a lot. His passing's not great.
I mean, he makes up for it, I think.
Just score a goal now and again.
It is very, very nice to see on FC24 the meta sort of go towards the bigger type players, the aerial plus, because it's something that we didn't have, you know, in previous times, and something that people are really, really enjoying to execute.
Here is Erling Haaland.
No.
As Buckley said, giving the ball away.
It's just his passing is just not great. You want him to be the final piece of the jigsaw, not the corners. If you're not starting with him, you're finishing with him. Again, the switch of play. It plays into West Ham's hands right now, but it's a long game to try and keep hold of the ball.
I think he's triggering runs a bit too much at the moment. The West Ham Greek army. I do think at some time he has to... It's okay to trigger runs, but you got to be special about it.
Could be a bit of space here on that far side. It's Thierry Henry. Just look at Haaland getting away from his man. Kompany comes across. Gets the foul away.
This is dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous, because there's one man that you aim for.
And it's really hard to defend against.
Henry over the free kick.
Is that Erling Haaland marking Erling Haaland there as well?
Yeah, he's trying to take it short, but De Bruyne won't come.
Vincent Kompany fired across. Bruno Fernandes wins it back. Is there a counter on here for West Ham? Son.
Nice. Nice defence.
Great defended by Virgil van Dijk.
Is that where you talk about the aggressive defending, where you need to be aggressive in those one-on-ones where you feel like you've got the upper hand and you just take off?
That's the thing, it's a 1v2. So if in a 1v2 you gotta take risks, because if not, if you play it like patiently, there's no chance of you defending it well.
Rodri out wide, floated into the box. Haaland will get up for it. Heads it down. He's onside. Red Leg and Nottingham Forest back in the tie.
Not only he scores, he green times it. It wasn't necessary, but he did it.
I didn't know if you were offside.
I thought it as well, but Havertz.
It was Kai Havertz on the left-hand side playing him on, but what composure to green time that as well, because you don't really need to do that, but that's what sets apart these players from the casual players like me and Mr. Buckley.
Sorry, me?
There's only one thing you can do in that situation, which is offside trap and pray for the best.
I mean, Havertz dropped back to deal with Rodri, and then it's great knowledge, to be honest, for Red Leg to see that he's going to be onside as well, because first glance he looked like he could have been off. Back in the game are Nottingham Forest.
That's a beautiful ball.
Virgil van Dijk against Erling Haaland, and Van Dijk comes out on top.
But the press.
Actually saw Redlock backstage as well when we were doing the analysis earlier on today. I was sort of saying he's been the player that let down this Forest side. He just said to me in passing, I've won a game now. You can stop.
Hey, they're listening to us.
I've won a game, so just pay attention to me.
It is, of course, such a great opportunity for these players to be here, and there's so much more as the interception from Company. Again, there's so much more than just winning the ePrem, isn't there, Grab, this weekend? There's so much up for grabs, and the opportunity for people to keep their season alive.
Yeah, and look for the cross.
He's in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, he moved the keeper nicely. Recycles. This is good. This is really good.
Finesse territory for Kevin De Bruyne. Bruno Fernandes does well. You're talking about the further implications of the ePremier League. You win it, you get a FC Pro World Championship spot and 2 tickets to the E-Champions League. For second place, you're taking E-Champions League places as well. Grav, you keep putting your hand up.
Yeah, I want to talk because it's not only those ECL and Pro World Championship spots, it's not only the money. You are the best player in England. And that's something else as well. And especially us players, our ego is just like out of this studio, you know? So to be the best player in your country, it's something else.
And you get the trophy as well, which felt really good. Honestly, my ego was being inflated as well.
Felt nice.
Whilst I was touching it as well. But yeah, I mean, it's so important because these players, the season will continue for them. And that is a massive thing. You speak to some of the players, even if they get to that final, it's massive for them.
It is. It definitely is. And we talked about this match being potentially one of the best matches we could see, and it's a delivery.
Living up to it.
Yeah.
Living up to it. You see West Ham on your screen right there. Brig Army came in with a lead that has been wiped away due to Redlock's goal in the opening 45 minutes. I heard the whistle blow, which means one thing and one thing only. We need to find out our next quarter finalist. 45 minutes left to play. If we have to go to extra time and penalties, I don't think something we've done today at all.
No,
actually.
It
would stick on this console, so it would be Redlock versus Brig Army, potentially stepping up from 12 yards.
I really hope it goes to extra time because it's been a beautiful match. And I just want to see both of them just pushed against the ropes to see what...
You want to see them suffer a little bit more?
Yeah, in a way. Sorry, guys.
I would like to see a penalty shootout as well. I wouldn't like to be involved in a penalty shootout with the stakes this high, but absolutely. But the quality, like you said, has been exceptional so far.
Wow.
It's a long ball up the pitch.
Oof. Vieira, the main man.
Actually, Vieira.
That's a big tackle.
What a player. True, when you talk about the word icon, true Premier League icon, Patrick Vieira. Hullet dinked it through to Henry. Is he onside?
Yeah.
He actually pulled away from it.
Yeah, he wasn't. I do think...
Manually pulling the player away, so you're going for a free kick. Mistake at the back for Brig Army, but Rodri, as he ever does for Man City, just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, a right back doing a really good job for a lot of players this weekend. On that topic of players, goalkeepers, we've got Petr Cech and we've got against Edwin van der Sar. Who'd your pick be?
I really like Van der Sar. I think he's the most complete keeper you can pick, but there's also Alisson.
Yeah.
Henry.
Oh,
not a goal, but
Van Dijk. What a centre back.
I think I would go Alisson. Yourself, FG?
Well, you said Henry, but we could go Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Look at the cross. Look at the cross.
We could. Havertz just didn't make the run. Did Henry at the back post there?
That was a good pass, but Hullet didn't react.
This game's just getting a little bit cagey.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's really tough to play when you're in a 2-bit. I mean, it's 2-2, and...
How do you play? Do you try and go for it? Do you try and win the game? Do you just continue to play out the match? It's a mental arithmetic battle that is really tough to crack.
Maybe you can cross. No, but I think you got to be aggressive. I do think in these situations, the player who takes the bigger risk usually wins, in my opinion. It's not an easy thing to do because, like, you're just, I don't know, so tense. But you got to find that confidence.
At what point do you take the risk, though? Because we're going into the final stages.
No.
This is the moment to do it.
This is the moment.
Is that because you could potentially have time to recover as well if you concede a goal?
Yeah, probably.
I think there's also that element of the feeling that you get once you step off the stage. I went to try and win the game, just as Red Light's trying to do. Power shot cancelled. Cole Palmer!
It's a huge chance. As the pause goes in, it is a huge chance.
Wrong post, in my opinion. But that was brilliant.
Rav, you've got another chance to talk us through it. Did he do anything wrong?
Not really. I thought he was going to finesse with Hullet. But yeah,
Red times, I think it was.
I think it was yellow, but yeah, either way, I do think it was the wrong post. But yeah, Ricarmi catching a breath in there.
He greened the one that he probably didn't need to green.
Yep.
The first goal.
Yep.
The one that he needed to green. Couldn't quite get it, and that's nerves. That's pressure. That's what it does to you.
It does to you, yeah. But maybe a finesse by Hullet. I mean, he has the finesse plus.
Cole Palmer finesse?
As well. He has the finesse plus as well.
Essentially. It's great to be on the position where we are.
It is.
It's when you're in that booth. It's a lot tougher.
It's a lot easier to watch, isn't it, than to play, that's for sure.
I'm telling you, if I was playing here, I would love to have FG with me as a coach.
I thought he said he'd love to play against me.
No, as a mental coach. And I'm telling you, I'm sure you would hype me up.
I'll hype you up even if you lose.
Long throw in, Henry, Ginola for West Ham. They've not offered a lot in this second half, I've got to say. It's been a lot of Nottingham Forest, the close chances for Forest and the near misses. Brigami hasn't created too much.
Not really.
But he only needs one.
Yeah. Great pass.
Henry, Vieira, not the man you want leading the attack. He offloads to Rodri. Kai Havertz with a good chance. And what does that mean? Rodri's out of position. You try and exploit it while the Spaniard is up. There's space in behind if he tries to play. Bruno Fernandes with long ball pass plus.
This is good.
Can bring Hullet into play now.
This is
Howland, great touch. Finishes it past the keeper. Brigami and West Ham United are 15 minutes away from a quarter-final tie.
Small margins, just small margins. He had to time it right. He did. Green. And that went in. And the reaction.
Great play. The build-up play.
Amazing.
He saw Roger out of position and then exploited.
He created the overload on that left-hand side and oh my, did he.
3 players against 1, and you said it perfectly. Like, he overloaded, but correctly, because Rodri was out of position. So he forced the centre-back to be out of position. And when that happened, you're kind of in a tough position because the defense is completely messed up. What do? You try to go for the 1v1, but then he passed it to Haaland. And the green time. Oh, beautiful. But still, I mean...
Still a long way to go.
Still.
It's kitchen sink time now, though. This is the moment where he's got no choice. This is to save himself in the ePremier League.
The winner of this game plays Luton Town. Massive game.
Massive game. Huge game by two players who did so well.
15 minutes left to play in game. That probably works out at about a minute and a half, 90 seconds left.
No.
Potentially of the ePremier League. Henry, Ginola, red times.
We're seeing a lot of the long throws to Erling Haaland, again, utilising that aerial plus as well, which is an interesting tactic. But
I mean, we were talking about corners earlier, saying how dangerous corners can be. If you're just going to throw the ball like an arrow directly into Haaland's head, there's even less pressure around him. There's only one player marking him. And you're not going to get Haaland on Haaland defensively. So it's almost a guaranteed win every time. Willian, fresh off the bench, alongside Ginola.
Great pass. Keeper.
Rodri in a 50-50. Let's go, bit pay.
Whoa, referee! It looked like a penalty to me.
Just absolutely clattered him.
Say it's great goalkeeping, shall we?
Let's say that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Nice press. Yeah, that's a brilliant press.
Henry looking to put the final nail in Forest's coffin. Check just in the way, more than anything. Into the corner flag, only 7 minutes left to play. It's whipped into the box. Van Dijk wins it, and Vincent Kompany can clear into Haaland.
That's a mistake.
Nothing seems to be falling Forest's way at the moment.
Oh, really? Yeah, he can pass the ball backwards to Ginola. It's onside. Yeah, he's taking his time.
Does Brigami have what it takes to send West Ham into a quarter-final tie?
That's brilliant. Twisting and turning to find William again.
He would hammer it home, just offside. Gives a chance for Forest to go forward.
They need one. It only takes one attack in situations like this, and you see it so much.
Early switch of play. Could be another switch of play. You see it on the top-hand side of your screen for people watching at home, but it's Rodri down the byline. Dinked into the box. Haaland will be up for it. Wins the header. Son. Oh, it! Green time! Van der Sar at the near post. Makes the save. We do have a corner left to play. There's time on the clock. And it will be Kevin De Bruyne over it. Inside foot curl. Now he's looking to curl it away from the goalkeeper. Haaland selected. Whipped in, Haaland up, Rudolph with a fantastic header.
One more chance, one more chance.
Cole Palmer back out wide to De Bruyne, whipped into the back post,
Oh, what a chance. That could be it.
I think that's it.
West Ham United on the verge of knocking out Nottingham Forest. A 2-1 win for GRK versus Goal Poacher and a 1-1 draw. Sealed the Hammers into the quarter-finals. Unbelievable stuff.
Come on, man. Come on.
Amazing.
Just look what it means on both sides of the coin. Desolation for Forest.
Come on, man.
Pure joy for West Ham. Look at that.
That's what it means. And that's why we came here. And that's why we come here, to watch these
West Ham.
situations.
There were always the conversation, they're a good team, but are they good enough? Yes.
They are.
They've answered the question. They are good enough. Brig Army has been a player talked about for a year or so now. This is its coming out party, and GRK, look, he's got fans online. He's got a growing community. Not only is he a very good competitive player, he's an ePremier League quarter-finalist.
Yeah. I mean, the performance which is seen from the West Ham side.
Rav, get yourself a lie down, because we're going again very soon. Frankie, what a game.
What a game. I can't wait to see West Ham do it all over again in the quarterfinals versus Luton Town tomorrow. But next up, we need to see who is going to win the ultimate showdown between Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace. Welcome back to the ePremier League Finals 2024. There are just 2 more matches to go in this knockouts of day 1. and West Ham. You can just see the emotions on their faces. This means everything to them as they send Nottingham Forest out of the competition and book a spot against Luton Town in those quarter-finals tomorrow. Next up, though, Leah Ravel and Casey, we have got Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur. Each team has a former champion. The question is, who is going to be wanting it more? Who is looking hot to trot? Leah Ravel, I'll start with you. Who do you have it in this matchup?
It's hard to say. I mean, Tom and Lyrics. Lyrics was perhaps the one that struggled more in the group stages. But Lyrics on his day is, you know, one of the best as well. So if they perform to their best ability, it could be them. Shell, same thing, struggled in the groups, but has been playing well today. So alongside Nixneb, if they're at the top of their game, it could be them also.
What's really interesting is whoever wins this is going to be playing against Manchester City. Shell's won EPL back in 2021 with Manchester City. I wonder, Casey, if that's already on his mind.
Yeah, I think that is definitely on his mind as he is thinking about this. But it's important to go one game at a time. And I know that Man City is possibly in the back of his mind because they are arguably probably the team to beat in this whole competition. But he is going against Lyrics, who is his friend. And so all four of these competitors have played so many times. I've been looking forward to this matchup all day. This could be a semi-final or a final.
It's really interesting looking at the duo for Crystal Palace as well. Shells, we know he has proven pedigree. He's described as one of the best defenders in the game. But Nixneb is also a newer player, and yet he is holding his own for this duo. And Leah, just how mechanically skilled is this man? He's only 19.
That's the thing. He does have that technical ability in the mechanical sense, but he also has the experience. He's 19 years old, but he still competed at the highest level. All four of them have competed internationally, so it's a level of match that maybe we haven't even seen today.
So even though Tom Lees has got the 2020 title to his name, Casey, we definitely shouldn't be counting Nixneb out. They're both starting off in this leg.
Absolutely not. I think that Nixneb is one of those players that both offensively and defensively, it's almost perfection. And both of their teammates, I think that Tom and Nixneb, they dominated the group stage, but both their teammates are rising to the occasion today, and so they're both very well-rounded teams.
So looking at their matches earlier on in this competition, is this a case of our first match being the one where it's all-out aggression and we see the most goals?
It's hard to say. Attacking players, but also no one wants to be the one to make the mistake or concede the goals, and I think, again, the experience here might come into play because they know how to game manage, they know how to approach this, and they've, like Casey said, they've all played together numerous times.
Well, all I can say is I have an appetite to see the most goals possible, and I'm a hungry woman. So let's kick off this third knockout stage between Spurs and Crystal Palace.
Well, where do we start for a game like this? Crystal Palace against Spurs in what is going to be a decider for tomorrow of who will be playing against Manchester City, a team that you know too well and a player you know quite well over there on the stage as well. Shells, former teammate now of Crystal Palace. This one plans to be fireworks, Ryan Pessoa.
Yeah, it's a huge matchup, as Casey said. Arguably the best or the biggest matchup we've seen so far. It's four juggernauts in the scene. They've performed on massive events. We've had two ePremier League winners, I should say, in Tom and Shells. Nixneb and Lyrics, top players as well.
Well then, this is game number one. We're kicking off on the PlayStation first and foremost. It's so hard to try and paint the picture for this matchup here of the quality that these two players have on this side of the court. So it could be an early start for Tom Lees. 3 minutes in, and it's a power shot already. It's an exciting start from Spurs. But one thing that we can guarantee from Tom Lees is that he is going to be full of goals. 23 for the competition now. But defensively, Ryan, my point I wanted to make is that they're both so solid. I mean, up to this point, Nixneb, he hasn't drawn a game, let alone lose a game. It's just been win after win after win after win all the way through. Only conceding 4 goals up to this point in the ePremier League. He is a consistent player, so is Tom, in terms of making the latter stages in this competition. The last 2 years, he's had a top 4 finish with Crystal Palace's Nixneb, looking to go one step further this time. And for Tom Lees, former ePremier League champion. Back in 2020, 4 years on, after coming so close last year. We're looking to make sure that he can get it right this time. After a heartbreaking end to Leeds United, in what was a really difficult final. Last year's competition, 10 minutes in, what are we expecting from this game? I mean, look, I know it's over 2 legs, Ryan, but this leg in particular is going to be a real battle.
It's huge. It's 2 of the best players in this competition kick-starting this leg. Nixter, I think that goal came from a bit of rash defending. I think he pressed intently, didn't end up winning possession, and it gave Tom Lisa a huge chance in that goal, which was expertly taken, to be fair. I should say power shot into the underside of the bar.
Here's Nick Snep, driving forward, looking for that all-important equaliser, defended well by Bruno Fernandes. If you have just tuned in, this is a huge game here at the Premier League. You win this, you go through to the quarter-finals tomorrow to take on Manchester City. And earlier today, in case you missed it, it was a huge 5-2 win for Spurs. In Tom Lisa's individual game, he is cooking around the box here with De Bruyne. There's the finesse shot, deflected well, and eventually handled by Nick Snep. If you are a keen Ultimate Team player, that Bentancur did get an upgrade thanks to that result from Lyrics and Tom. Overall, they won 6-2. Lyrics winning his individual game by a 1-0, and it was also very convincing for Crystal Palace in a 6-2 win against Everton. Those 2 results put them into this match-up here. It's been the game of the round that everyone's been talking about. Thierry Henry exits well with a couple of step-overs, and it's an aggressive tackle from Henry. It's enough to win the ball, but give possession back to Crystal Palace. Only for so long. It really is one of those, if you think about it, it's the first time we've had a console swap in terms of the way that this match is going. We've always normally kicked upon the Xbox, haven't we? And what we've learned from today, Ryan, is that if you're playing second leg, it's a very horrible game.
Yep, you have to carry the weight of the result from the first leg, whether it's worked for you or against you. Of course, the main thing right now is that from Crystal Palace, Nick Snep gets back into it.
Defensively, it's another great call to make from Tom Lees. The conversations we're saying at the desk before we got going today, mechanically, Nick Snep, unbelievable. Is he offside? No, he's not. Ruud Gullit, massive chance off the woodwork. Could have and should have been 2-0 to Spurs. It still is very much alive. Haaland back to Gullit, interchanging Sol. Cole Palmer, it's blocked by Virgil van Dijk. And then another day, Spurs should be losing by 2-0.
Should be 2-0, 100%. That chance there, in on goal. 1v1, hits the post there for Tom Lees. But a shaky start there from Nick Snep, in my opinion. Defensively, and even in terms of just keeping possession, it seems like he's gifting it away a lot of the time.
Third of this game already gone. But this is only the first leg. An aggregate scoreline will be needed across 2 individual games to find who will be playing in the quarter-finals tomorrow against Manchester City. I'm in for an equaliser. The touch wasn't great from Bukayo Saka there, just sort of joggled up onto his boot. Massive tackle from Virgil van Dijk. Possession finds its way back again to Spurs. Rodri hasn't looked out of place in the fullback. Is there a flick on available? Team of the year, Haaland.
Oh, the pace. Cynical challenge was needed there from Tom to stop Erling Haaland running in behind. 5 minutes left to go of this first half. We haven't seen too much offensive threat from Nick Snep.
I think he's managed it all well, Tom.
I think he's been incredible. He could arguably, or should definitely be 2-0 up.
A number of brave decisions there at the back, hasn't there? Some big defensive calls where when he's needed to be aggressive, he has. I think it looks like Tom Lees will be going into half-time. 1-0 up. Yes, he will. Spurs lead by a goal to 0.
He's got unfinished business, irrespective of being a previous champion. And he's coming into this tournament as, in my opinion, one of the best players in Europe, let alone in the ePremier League.
Kai Havertz. It's going to fall back to Bruno Fernandes. We know how deadly he can be with the finesse if it was to be Kevin De Bruyne. But just back to your point that you say about how good he is.
Yeah.
I think he's that good, and he hasn't even been able to play him.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and I think that's why he'll be relishing the fact that he's on the main stage now. He'd want to be playing here at the biggest stage of all. Of course, representing his club as well, his favourite club in Tottenham Hotspur. So we'll be hoping to do them proud as well.
Pull it back to Rodri. There's De Bruyne. Option from the edge of the box. Disguised it well. Nick Snebb again. Huge tackle from Kai Havertz.
Goal-saving. Genuinely a goal-saving tackle there. Last ditch to prevent Crystal Palace from getting a shot at goal there.
Got that one out so well. Cole Palmer. Have the idea. Rodri happy to overload in a bit of a onslaught on this right-hand side of the pitch. He does find the aerial read after birthday icon. Is there a potential cutback available? Look to go down to ground. Look to be some contact there from Rio Ferdinand.
Proposed play from the back there from Tom. And push forward De Bruyne.
Happy to keep possession.
The triggered run there as well. It's gone for the finesse.
It's red times. Just goes wide of that left-hand post.
I think that's the key component to building up in FC24. Just triggering the run there from, I think it was Bruno Fernandes running deep from Tom. Just made and forced Nick Snebb to switch cursor, just to pay attention to the run. Another mistake.
Can he make the most of this chance there? Thierry Henry. One-on-one with Virgil van Dijk. Wins a corner for his efforts. What can we see from here? You see Nick Snebb defensively trying to stop Erling Haaland's run. Whipped in towards the back post, and there's two hands on it from Van der Sar, and into a pause. Spurs will be looking to it. If this stays at a 1-0, Ryan, it's so open for the second game.
Yeah, it sets out perfectly for Shells and Lyrics, of course, watching on from the sidelines right now. Two good friends as well. A lot of experience playing against each other, practicing continuously throughout the years as well.
Rodri. Not the man you really want to get into the box, offload it to someone else. Pull it, De Bruyne, does he fancy it from this far out? A couple of ball rolls, this is nice from Nick Snebb. One more finds Henry! And Crystal Palace find a way back into the tie.
It's a massive goal there, Brandon. You see the build-up, driven into Erling Haaland. Plays a reverse pass to Henry on his weaker left foot. Finesse shot plus play style into the top corner. And that's the route back into the game for Nick Snebb and Crystal Palace.
Frustration from Tom Lees, who has defended in his own right really well. The only points he dropped in the group was a 1-1 draw against the arch enemy in Arsenal in a North London derby played in the ePremier League. Of course, remember, Arsenal were also through into a massive game that will come up after this one. As that goal sparked some life into Crystal Palace. Goalkeeper movement there was interesting.
Vieira right back, which is, of course, defensively it secures you with this play style plus as well. Just a stature of Vieira as well. Try and battle at the back post aerially, but going forward doesn't really offer you a lot.
Declan Rice also. Player that's been drafted on. Paul's coming in from Crystal Palace. Last 18 minutes here. You have to just tune in this ePremier League Grand Finals. Winner of this plays Man City. That's going to fall nicely to well in Haaland.
See the way Tom builds up there, just looking for the finesse shots. He's had that a couple times. I think that's 3 times already in this game. Was blocked there from Cole Palmer, who has the play style plus, so it increases the accuracy and trajectory of those finesse shots. It's making it a little bit more dangerous and something you have to always keep note of when defending. You have to move the goalkeeper. You have to. Any sort of area. We saw Tom actually earlier on score a finesse shot from around 30 yards with De Bruyne. It was out of nothing, out of nowhere, and that sort of gave him the platform to push on in the game. So for Nixneb, you have to move the keeper.
Frustration building there for Tom Leach, as you can see. Into the pause menu we shall go. We already saw a couple of changes, such as Declan Rice and Patrick Vieira coming onto the pitch for Spurs. Looks as if there'll be a couple of personal changes as well for Crystal Palace. Probably expect the fullbacks just to be replaced. Got so many reps in the Premier Leagues. As I said, on one side of the defence, you've got Tom Leach, a 2020 winner, and then coming up next, you've got Shells, who won this competition on a penalty shootout back in 2021 for Man City, now playing for Crystal Palace this year. Yaya Toure, fresh off the pitch. Still Yaya Toure now, tries to squeeze it back. It's a massive save from Van der Sar. And already you can see the instant impact of that hero. And he's offering him in the final third. Big win there from Omri.
Has to win it again.
Very nearly does. Rodri in it. The left-hand side now of the back line.
That pressure there from Nixon.
Very dangerous, plays well. Under that pressure does Tom Leach to get himself out of that spot of bother. Happy to take that big switch once again. These are going to be even Stevens headed in. So the second leg between these two. Hullet, is there a through ball available? Finish from distance.
That's what it is there. It's just triggering the fullback on the overlap, using them as a decoy and then just going for the finesse shot.
Didn't really have too much of an angle on it, though, did it, that finesse shot? The routine save in the end.
It's going to be the last attack of this game. Crystal Palace hoping it falls their way. Nixneb looking to keep possession, approaching the 90th minute. He's just launched it out for a throw, and the last attack will fall the way of Tom Leach and Spurs.
See how much time is added on to this one as well. Only 1 minute. Last chance of the game now for Spurs to take a very slender advantage into the second leg. Erling Haaland times it green, wins a corner.
Good keeper movement there to prevent a goal directly at goal, but it's going to be a corner. And we know how well Tom Leach has drilled at corners this year. Scored a number, scored a few all-important goals from this set piece. This was the chance, the last guard defending there, committed from Nixneb. The keeper movement towards the middle and backwards as well onto his goal line prevented a goal from Tom Leach.
And as much as it was time green run, the angle was just getting smaller and smaller.
Of course,
and smaller.
yeah. And especially if you move the goalkeeper there, it sort of nullifies the attacking threat, especially if you move them backwards. It's not just about committing to a side, you have to keep them in.
If there's someone that knows how to take a corner in this game, it will be Nightwatch.
Genuinely.
He is telling Tom exactly what to do. Let's jump into it now. Corner. Last kick of the game for Spurs in match number 1 between these two. Let's see if there is to be a last laugh in this one. Where's he going? Rafa Varane is there towards the front post, off the woodwork!
Oh my goodness.
And so so solid indeed. There is someone else who just joined us as well. Richard Buckley. Rich, you've been watching it from the sidelines for that first game. I mean, it's the match of the round, this one. And look, this second leg sets up perfectly.
It does set up perfectly. And do you know what else? I think that first leg, the vibe that I got from it, both players felt they had to win.
Yeah.
Because I'm not being disrespectful, you're passing it off to the player who's been worse at the Premier League. So you've got the two players who have carried your team to this point, and you're passing over the controller to someone who hasn't played as good during this process.
The thing is...
and they're playing against each other.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. That's a key moment here. I think whoever wins this, that could spur them on to genuinely go the distance. I know they have Man City in their way.
What a game. You've got to be unbiased.
Yeah, I'm always unbiased.
Just for context for those at home, obviously Ryan Pessoa and Shells were teammates at Manchester City for a handful of years. Obviously since then...
4 years?
I think so, yeah. It's been friends for longer than that as well, so it's tough. But it's going to be a huge game. Lyrics and Shells play each other a lot in practice games.
But just back to Richard's point as well, I mean, look, you look at Lyrics' record in the group stage. Didn't win a game. Got one draw, lost 3 games. Picked up his first win today, 1-0.
He did look pretty good, I've got to say, against Painter.
And he said in an interview, look, it's a very different Lyrics you're looking at now. I had to, rightfully so, put more practice in, more hours in, more reps in. So back up my teammate in Tom. Let's see what Lyrics has got for us here in this first chance of the game. De Bruyne's got a clean free chance here around the goalkeeper, saved by the feet of Edwin van der Sar, but already there's your first warning shot fired.
Huge save. Could have been a quick goal again for Spurs against Palace. It's a massive save.
You speak about Lyrics. For me, you're seeing Lyrics' intensity and will to win by flying in Night Watch from behind it.
Yeah, it's a different player, as in Lyrics. It seems genuinely, if you compare this Lyrics already, I know we've only got the pleasure of seeing him for 1 game plus this so far today, but...
It just looks a lot more focused, looks more lazy.
It's a complete overhaul in preparation.
That corner in the first game made me laugh. When Night Watch told him exactly what buttons to press, how much power you want to put on it. It nearly worked for him as well.
Didn't know what to expect, did you? On the other side of it, you have to remember, look, Shells has been here before and has been a champion for Manchester City back in 2021. He won on a penalty shootout. At the moment, he's having to deal with all this pressure, which is coming his way. Keeper's going to save it to his own goal. He's bundled in. It's not the most prettiest of finishes, but he won't care. Spurs lead by 2-1.
Just to build up with Vieira, the step overs, the keeper movement was great there. It's just, for Lyrics, it's very fortunate, of course, it falls his way. And for Crystal Palace, they're down by 1 again.
I think, obviously, it's a disappointing goal to concede, and it's a sort of goal that goes in, and it could drop the head.
I think Shells as well, obviously playing with him for a number of years, he's a confidence player. He's somebody that...
He gets going, he's flying.
But the thing is, he's one of those players, he doesn't necessarily gain confidence from results. It's more so how he's performing. Exactly. And I feel as if he will see he's defending well, he's creating a lot of chances, he's not making unforced errors, I think he'll gain confidence. That goal, I don't think will deflate him or derail him. I think he moved the keeper well. He done what he could do, and he conceded. I think that...
He's very mature when it comes to that. Like, it's not a... As much as it is a results business, it's not a results business.
Yeah.
But you need to get a result now.
Of course. All important. This is a huge game.
This is it. This could be the season defining.
It's the first time he's been able to sort of really have a feel of the ball, because at the moment it's all been Spurs saying that. Thierry Henry will snatch it off. Shells and look to drive forward. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity for Lyrics to show exactly what work he has been putting in since January in the group stages.
Well, I know I was having a chat with Lyrics as well, and he was talking about the formation, his tactics, just all wrong in the groups. He's now playing pretty much where everyone else plays in terms of the formation and the tactics and the way that he's playing, and he probably was at a disadvantage playing how he was in the groups.
He does tend to sort of stick with his own play style and method of formation and personnel, similar to Dragon, but not on a drastic scale. Just sort of a toned down version, in the sense he'll go for formations that he likes playing as well. And the 4-2-3-1, the 4-4-2, but I think the 4-3-2-1 is probably the most effective way.
Have to.
Yeah.
Good switch there. Can he win it in the air? Will come back nicely to Crystal Palace here. Declan Rice for Shells, driving this attack forward, yet to really register a proper chance or shot or goal. 30 minutes gone already. Spurs lead by 2-1. Winner of this plays Man City tomorrow in the quarter-finals of this year's ePremier League. Knows exactly what he's looking for if he can get the ball out to either side of the flank. There's a 6-foot-plus frame of Erling Haaland there. It's going to fall nicely back to Thierry Henry. Can he show us a skill or two as Shells often does in the final moments with that flary side to his game? But again, doesn't get anywhere on that occasion. There'll be Lyrics to come on forward once again. Happy to take his time. Company. Back to Hullet. Could be in for a second. Heung-min Son, great block at the back.
It's a huge, huge block. I thought it was almost certain going to be another Lyrics goal in this game. Shells just hasn't got going. First 36 minutes,
He's played very reactionary. He's not been able to get a hold of this game whatsoever. Lyrics has been the better player.
Yeah, even then, he could have played it in behind there. He opted for the safe pass.
Oh, not in the box there. Really result for the cross. Oh, it's still there too. He offers you also a very reasonable option in the box. Long ball forward. And there is a group of people watching this game because they'll be playing them tomorrow. Man City there in the back room here at the Premier League watching on. De Bruyne from distance! And it's 2!
Wow.
Didn't even need to time it, Green, I don't think. Just flew into the back of the net. Kevin De Bruyne will put Spurs up by 2-0.
I want to see the goalkeeper movement. Was he? He wasn't. I'm surprised he doesn't save.
This is Lyrics' best 41 minutes I've seen.
Agreed. He's been
in the last few years.
He hasn't conceded a goal. He hasn't conceded the goal so far.
Absolutely flawless.
Attacking, pressing. He looks confident. He looks like he's rolled back the years. Yeah. I'll be honest.
Again,
he looks really good.
He's not on the way back to Bucharest. 2-0 he leads. And so far in knockout play in this tournament, he hasn't conceded a goal yet.
Going again. He's in.
On for 3!
Wow.
And it's all before half-time. I think Tom could quite believe
it over. Going, where was this in January?
3-0 Lyrics leads on the stroke of half-time. And here comes a mountain.
A lot of players often say, yeah, I've been putting in the work behind the scenes, and they've not. They've just been playing now and again.
You can see it.
This looks like a Lyrics that's been playing 6 hours a day for the last 2 months straight.
Loves FC as well. He's flowed into it.
Yeah.
What changes need to be made here, Ryan, for any?
I don't think any.
Chance?
I wouldn't change any formation or tactics yet. I know it's 3 goals. If you change it and you can see this game done. But if you play not the same way in terms of.
Do you think if you stick it on Lyrics just a little bit, you might get something out of it?
It's not early. I think it's too early to potentially go all out.
Yeah.
Way too early.
What minute would you say then?
65th, I would say. If it's 3 goals at that point, then yeah. If he gets 4, for me, it's done. But even then, 3 against Lyrics is extremely difficult to overcome. Especially, I can't remember a chance, let alone a shot from Shells in that first half.
Schweinsteiger, big chance. Company does well to deal with it. Let's see what this Crystal Palace team is made of in this second half. Back-to-back top 4 in the last 2 years. The roster may have changed slightly with Ethan Higgins obviously coming out of that team now. Shells coming in to partner up with Nick Sneb.
Oh, it's great play. It's great play.
Whereas Lyrics on for goal number 4. Omri, one more into Heung-min Son. Cole Palmer disguises a shot well. Still happy to keep possession until he finds the perfect angle to finish with it. Cuts it back inside. Thierry Henry, time that green.
Lyrics is dangerous.
He's still not done yet. He is cooking in the final third.
I'm seeing Burma cancels.
Cole Palmer.
Let's look at the
Declan Rice. The pace of this attack. There's the player, there's Haaland, but the flick on. Oh, it's superb from Lyrics. Son steal, De Bruyne! Oh!
This looks like
it's unbelievable. Hold on a minute. Wait a second.
Timed it green as well.
Deserves the goal. I'm going to be honest, that was sensational build-up from Lyrics.
That might have been goal of honesty today.
I think that's caught Shells off guard.
Goal of his life.
They've played a lot, and Lyrics is just a different beast.
Is this a night watch effect?
It could be.
There's still time to go, and Shells will know that, but
that
his performance level has not been up to the level of his opponent.
No.
It's very simple. Lyrics is playing at a level that we've not seen. I said it once and I'll say it again. The entirety of the groups.
He lost 3 games in the group and drew them.
We didn't see this from him.
And naturally, there was
even the game earlier versus Painter, 1-0. It was okay, but this is different level.
Shells to start a comeback.
Shells has to be direct.
It needs to happen now. Schweinsteiger.
So passive.
It's just not going to happen, is it? And time just keeps on trickling away.
When you say so passive, what do you mean by that, Ryan?
So me and Shells used to practice, right? I'd fall guilty of this as well. We called it punching the ball into the strikers. You'd be building up on the edge. Last year, the most effective way is just to try and get the ball to your striker's feet, and then the magic starts from there. He's getting the ball down the byline relatively successfully, but then when trying to recycle and get the ball into the striker, instead of playing the ball in when it's open, he's scared to lose possession. So he's turning back, recycling again. It's going back to Schweinsteiger, De Bruyne. They're taking so many touches, whereas the strikers are just not seeing the ball.
I mean, it's cute to poor Shells, but it's going to come too late. We're in a battle with Hullet.
See, just a negative touch. He's turning back. I know in that situation it's hard because it's bouncing. You've got Rodri, who isn't the most nimble in possession, but
he's playing like a defeated player right now. And he's not. He's still got time to go.
Yeah.
Is this the chance now? Needs to get at this defensive line of Lyrics.
Great defending. Great defending from Lyrics.
Just stood up to it. Look at the bottom of the pitch.
Palmer, number 8 on your screen. Rodri will try and track it. For Lyrics, it has been a perfect game of FC 24.
When you're in this position as well, when winning, you see your opponent pause or cue a pause. I'm doing everything in my power to not let the ball go out of play. Genuinely.
Which I think Lyrics might be doing just that. The best leg individual game of FC 24 he's probably played all year. We're seeing it now. And the most important time in this competition after a 1-1 draw in the first leg between Tom Lees and Nick Snebb. Lyrics has come out flying. 4-1 they lead on aggregate. If he can hold on to this for just 12 in-game more minutes, they'll be in a quarter-final tomorrow.
Kept in as well.
Yeah.
They'll be taking on Manchester City. Look at the space.
So much space.
It's sealed the deal now. If they want to find a fourth, Haaland to the back post. He might have got his own. Into Haaland for 4! Lyrics! He's back at his best!
Game, set and match. Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City. Put it in your diary. Quarter-final.
I think that's more of him turning around to Tom and say, I'm here.
Yeah, that's a huge boost of confidence for Tom. Genuinely, that would do not just Lyrics, but Tom the world of good as well.
So now you've got confidence in your teammate.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not saying you didn't have it, but the performances from the groups maybe diminished that confidence.
I don't think he had it after the group stage. Genuinely, I know how Tom is, and I think he's probably responded to that on social media as well in cases that he felt as if he'd done his part. And obviously, Lyrics admitted to himself as well. He would say he didn't. Now he's definitely putting his weight. He's here.
50-50 split.
Literally, he's been insane because if it wasn't for him in this game,
if there's a time to peak,
it's now. Exactly.
Let's do it now.
Yep.
1 point from 12 in the group stage, and you can actually understand the frustration that was coming from your teammate of, look, I'm getting the points on the board here, and I need a bit more from you. Fortunately enough, there's been a big enough gap between the two events here at the ePremier League. There's been enough time to get the practice in and get accustomed to how competitive this tournament is.
He's blown away a former ePremier League champion, has Lyrics. Shells lifted this trophy only a few years ago, and right now, Lyrics has carried Spurs into the quarterfinals.
You want 5? Last 4 minutes of the game. That'll be 3 quarter-finals set in stone.
Great play.
Hoyland on for 5.
see the look from Shorey and Tom. They're blown away by this performance.
Unbelievable from Spurs. There's a case just waiting for the full-time whistle now, but we'll turn our attentions to what our quarter-finals look to be. I mean, there's 3 already confirmed in the bag, isn't there? Manchester United take on Liverpool tomorrow. Luton Town against West Ham United. Man City against Spurs.
How crazy that result is. This was the game we were talking extra time, penalties, it might be needed. 6-1. And it went into the second game at 1 apiece.
Unbelievable scenes. Again, you just didn't predict that in the second leg, and I think Tom would probably even stand there and say the same. I mean, look, we haven't seen a convincing performance from Lyrics. Yes, we saw a 1-0 win against Newcastle United, but as we said, he did not win a game in the group stage. He drew 1 game, he lost 3, but whatever's happened across the last couple of months, he has completely turned it all around. A huge 5-0 win.
Resounding. It was a demolition job, I'll be honest. From start to finish, I think Lyrics dominated.
Chelsea never in the game.
No, not once. I couldn't tell you a moment in the game where I thought Chelsea's getting back into this. I thought Lyrics controlled it from start to finish.
You said about confidence for Chelsea. He just didn't have any opportunity to be confident in that game at all. As we said, Man City against Spurs will be the game tomorrow. FG is catching up with that Spurs side now. They must be over the moon. They're in the final 8.
They absolutely are over the moon, and the man who's also over the moon, it's like a throwback, that Lyrics. What a performance. Let's talk about your level.
Man, I don't know where that comes from, to be fair. I think how prepared I am for this tournament, how much work I put in, it gives you a certain level of confidence where you can go and put out a performance like that. And I don't know, that's not always going to happen, do you know what I mean? Like, I think everything just went perfect for me, and I don't think Chelsea played his best game. Like, I played Chelsea a lot. I know Chelsea can play a lot better than that, so yeah. But yeah, what a win.
What a win indeed. Let's talk about tomorrow. Manchester City up next. What can we expect?
I'm not sure, to be fair. Obviously, I think they're the only team that hasn't played. I mean, obviously not the only team, but, you know, one of the 4 teams that were group winners. So we haven't seen them play since January. Don't really know what to expect. Obviously, the game has changed a lot with, you know, the Hala Meta and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just play my game and hopefully we come out with a win.
Well, all the best tomorrow. Let's head to Frankie.
Thank you very much, FG and Tex. Watch out, Lyrics is coming for you in that Xbox matchup in tomorrow's quarter-final. Coming up after the break, though, we've got our final match of the night. It's Arsenal versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.